Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the ReelTok podcast, episode 27. I am sat, as always, alongside my beautiful co-hosts, Seth, Cam, and Tyler. We have a packed episode for you today, reviews of two new releases, Scream 6 and 65. We're going to talk the latest trailers, the latest movie news, the latest comic book, nerd, Star Wars news. We got tons of content coming this week. We got obviously today's packed episode. We got 3 real quicks dropping this week. We got a draft of various film genres. We're going to do a full Oscars breakdown and, excuse me, a review of Badlands. So make sure you are subscribed to us on YouTube. Make sure you're following us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We've been more active on TikTok and Twitter and Instagram. So make sure you got us there to keep up with everything we do. And Letterboxd, of course. Make sure you're following us on Letterboxd. Keep up with everything we are watching. Gentlemen, before we get into today's episode, we got the Oscars tonight. We got The Last of Us tonight. How's everyone feeling? How was everyone's week? Seth, how we doing?
Yeah, pretty good. I went to a family friend's house last night, stayed over. I showed you guys. It was like a huge old Victorian house, really, really hundreds of years old. That was really nice. Played some games with the family, did stuff like that. Then stayed up watching UFC, obviously. Very, very tired. Oscars tonight. So I'm going to be very, very tired tomorrow and then probably tired the next day. And it is what it is. It's just an ongoing cycle at this point.
Are you going to stay up for the entirety of the Oscars?
I'd like to say yes, but I'll see. This is going to be my first Oscars. I've never seen it. I've never watched it before, so I don't know. I don't know the order. I'm assuming Best Picture and stuff is last, isn't it?
Yeah, except for two years ago, which was crazy.
So yeah, I will. I might do. Yeah, I'll try. I am looking forward to it. Like I said, it's not my first one, so. Obviously, I've been following a little bit more this year compared to the previous years where I've not really cared. But I've had a pretty good week. It's been snowing so much here. We had like inches of snow, as in like not even drivable snow. Crazy amount for a few days. So I was going to go and see 65. Couldn't go and see that because of the snow because I couldn't get there. Did go and see Scream. I watched like 13 films, I think, this week, which is pretty good with me. And yeah, pretty good week. Done some good stuff, and that's about it.
Solid.
Random question, Seth. How often do you guys use inches? I was expecting like centimeters to be what you said.
We use inches. No, we use inches.
Oh, I can't keep up if you guys are metric or whatever. So you use like, is the car's like miles per hour then, not kilometers per hour?
Yeah, it's cool. Your car's a mile.
Yeah, everyone uses miles.
Everything I've been told about other countries is a lie.
You guys, I've said like miles in our group chat so many times.
Yeah,
like you guys use.
I feel like this guy's fucking with us.
I think America, it's just all America propaganda where like every other country is different, so you must stay here.
I feel like you're fucking with us.
I feel like you're fucking with it.
I swear.
Per hour.
You know what I do, right, guys? If I'm joking with you, I'll do it for like 10 minutes and I'll laugh and then say
10 minutes? We got 8 more minutes
now. No, but I've been saying this for months because we've had this conversation ages ago.
Fair.
Everyone uses miles here. No one says kilometers per hour, honestly. Or if they do, not even near me anyway.
Tyler, how was your week?
It's been good. So daylight savings just hit. I don't think there's a podcast on this planet that's more affected by daylight savings than us because we have Cam and George, who have it as normal, me, who lives in a state that doesn't do it, and then Seth, who has daylight savings in a couple weeks. So we have 3, like, of the 4 people, 3 of us are handling daylight savings differently right now. As Seth's clock didn't change, my clock didn't change, but Seth's will be changing. I don't know. It's messing us all up, and it's making scheduling confusing. So that's always fun.
That's why you guys should. I'm going to say this every episode. You guys should move to New York.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yeah.
I'd say if I wanted to do New York, I'd move to London. I'm not doing it.
I've heard stories.
I'll move to New York, but actually just move to Montreal, Canada.
Yeah, do that.
But no, it's been a solid week. Like, so got my yesterday I was just like doing chores all day, so I'm like exhausted. Just picked up just like 17,000 steps yesterday on my watch from. Jesus. Didn't work out at all. It was just literally just from weeding the yard, cleaning the garage, cleaning my office, just like being on my feet all day. So I'm just like tired, and I was up till pretty late last night, and At least I didn't have my clock jump forward an hour though, because Arizona doesn't change time, and it's just weird. Just all daylight savings is weird because we're recording at 6 a.m. my time, and I just realized my clock like changed on my computer, so it says it's 7:23 here, even though it's 6:23. I'm all confused over here, but it's been a good week. Saw a decent amount of movies. Not quite yet, but I will be by the time the finale launches. I'm completely caught up on The Last of Us, so gonna be fully with everyone when that comes out. Except I'm gonna be like 2 hours delayed because it's coming out right during the Oscars, which, as I was very vocal about, I think is very stupid. But yeah, just been a fine week.
All right, sweet. I can't wait for our R65 review. You've been having a little George Quantumania Twitter arc recently.
He's not as bad.
It's fair.
Not as
Gab,
bad.
how's the week?
Man, the week's fine. This week's kind of just been black. You know, I don't really want to watch movies this week. I haven't really wanted to like post on TikTok. You ever get those weeks where it's just like, eh. And so it's been kind of a lazy week. I don't know. I watched all the Screams and then didn't go see the new Scream, so that feels pointless. I
crammed them all in, but you could have probably taken your time more.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. Purdue's going to win the Big Ten championship today, going to get that 1 seed, and then I'm just going to be happy. Go Boilers. That's all I got. I'm just I don't know. Weird week, down week. It
has been a weird week because, like I was saying earlier, like right before we started recording, like this is like the least our group chat's been active this week. I feel like it's been like slow message trickles each day, and I feel like we went like Thursday through to Friday, like just with like radio silence. It's just, but I feel like we've all just been kind of doing our own thing this week.
This is my off week. Film Twitter. I hate it so much. It's like my least favorite thing on earth. And so I can't do film this week. I think this week was basketball week for me. And then next week we'll get back to movies maybe.
Wait, film Twitter was the reason you couldn't watch, like film Twitter got you down that bad?
I think it's just the progressive film Twitter of the months on it now.
Before
I do kind of know what you mean.
Before I started this podcast, all I got on Twitter were memes, and now I have people fighting about things that don't matter, and so I'm just like, But it's all right. Just a down week. We'll be okay. Life is good. I don't know. Chang Can Dunk, by the way. He can in fact dunk.
All right,
but we'll get to that.
It's an interesting week for me as well. It was my last week of work. So just weird because I was like weirdly hectic, but not like work related, mostly just like training people up for my departure. And then had a good night Thursday, went out with some coworkers. Friday had my little double feature. First time I did a double feature by myself, interestingly enough.
It's a good time.
Yeah. I had a
Do you usually go with Victoria? I thought you go by yourself quite a lot.
No, I this was the first time I did a double feature.
Just a double feature.
Yeah. I've been by myself plenty, but this was the first time I did a double feature alone. So that was fun. And then yesterday I just chilled. Yesterday I just relaxed. Just needed to catch up on some sleep. But anyways, let's get into our episode. We, of course, none of the uptick in our content production before we get started would be possible without our patrons. You guys, again, the support you show us is unreal, and you're the reason why, we can drop an episode a week plus, 2 to 4, 5 real quicks. You guys are the reason we keep grinding. So thank you to everyone. But let's get right into it. We're doing our reviews.
I'm sorry, I'm stealing it. This episode drops on the 13th. Happy anniversary, Emma. We've been together 5 years. Shout out her. Shout out huge.
Happy anniversary, Cam and Emma.
Just taking that real quick.
That's fine. I'm happy you said that. I'm happy you brought it up.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our Scream 6 review. That was the biggest release of the week. It seems like there's a new thing going around. And before we get to the review, I wanted to say this. Since when do people like rewatch a franchise before a film? I feel like no one ever used to do that. Like Creed, Scream, everyone rewatched every movie in that franchise.
I think you're just more online now, man.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
I did it before like Endgame. Like I rewatched the entire MCU.
I
don't do it every MCU movie, but like before Endgame.
Yeah. I don't do it unless I haven't watched them. Like Scream and Creed, I hadn't watched Creed 2, and I'd only seen the first and second Scream.
Yeah,
so I
like,
need to like catch up a little bit. But I never used to do it before. No.
I wasn't gonna rewatch the entirety of Scream, but then I just kept seeing everyone on Twitter doing it. I'm like, all right, I guess I gotta rewatch Scream now.
When did you last watch
fit
them?
in? Why the first Scream probably like a year ago, 2 through 4 a good while ago.
Yeah,
5 last year when it came out.
Yeah, I hadn't seen any. I'd only seen 5, so I had to I had to watch them, not rewatch them.
Do you know when you watched 5? How come you didn't think to watch 1 first?
I
watched a little bit of like a 5.
I watched 5
reboot.
Yeah, I don't know.
5's a reboot, but I always thought that like, or people recommended to me that you should always watch the original so you're familiar with the concept, I guess, and a few of the characters as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I understood it enough. It's Scream. It's right there. It's not too highbrow for me.
Yeah, parody slasher horror comedy.
But yeah, I don't know. I like to do them before the big releases. I don't know if I'll do it for like Mission Impossible or something. I don't know. Maybe I will.
I have to do it for Mission Impossible because I've never seen a Mission Impossible movie except 1 and 2.
Yeah, I've only seen 1.
Silly goose.
So. I gotta do it. All right, let's get into the review. Scream 6 seems to be getting some favorable reviews. It seems like a lot of people are being overhyping it, as a lot of people on film Twitter said. So we'll start with Tyler. We'll start with Tyler because I know Tyler enjoyed it, but I know he's not like. I think he has it.
Tyler is actually a ghost-faced goon.
I really liked Scream 6. I just thought some people were ranking it really, really high. So should we go through like non-spoilers first? And
yeah.
I will say to start, I didn't watch it. You're free to spoil.
When we get into spoilers, Cam, you should like turn off your head. But I feel like movie like Scream, like it doesn't ruin it, but it's like it kind of ruins
I guess.
it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
What I would say to that is 5 minutes within the Scream film, he'll probably know who the killers are anyway. I think it was like crazy.
I'll be honest. The first 2,
that's so whack.
Just to start general Scream discussion real quick. The first 2, I genuinely didn't see the killers coming. I think it's unfair in the first one that they kill one of the killers, so that's not fair. But I didn't see them coming. And then the third and fourth,
I don't think I did in the first 2. To be fair,
the third and fourth, I kind of got it. The 5th, obviously, I didn't see coming because I think you'll get any of them. Okay.
No.
All right, we'll see.
I've never.
All right, go Tyler.
Maybe I'll mute you guys.
I've always seen like because I haven't seen a single Scream movie until just a couple of days ago, so I ran through the whole franchise and I read people's reviews and then like they'll say like, oh, this movie's one was really predictable or this one wasn't. For me, I never found them like crazy over the top predictable. Like to me, Glass Onion was easily more predictable than any Scream movie I've seen by like many miles. Like Glass Onion, I knew immediately, and Screams like it took me a little longer. But similar to I think what Cam said about Glass Onion when that came out is kind of similar about Scream. Like it's never really been about who's the killer going to be. Like that's definitely a layer to it and you want it to be good. But at the same time, there's like a ton of other elements to each Scream film that is kind of the reason you're going there for the slashes, the kills, the iconic moments, the final boss, the final scenes. But yeah, for me, Scream 6, I enjoyed it. Like I said, the franchise as a whole has blown me away. Like how much I've just genuinely really loved every movie except Scream 3, but like every other movie I just had a blast with, and that still was the case here. Like I gave it a 3-star. I just thought, I don't know. For me, like the plot armor is just getting to the point where it's like ridiculous. Like the fact of how many times they made jokes about it, and then like just still it just kept it, and I'm just like just take a risk, just do something. Like you have no balls, just do something, and. Yeah, and I feel like I kind of posted on Twitter, like I feel like going to New York City just didn't really matter much. Like I feel like the subway scenes, like the only reason they needed to be in the city, because other than that, they were just like on a college campus that like easily could have looked like a college campus that's like in like a college town where it's not like a city, but it's just like, you know, a campus with apartments. Like you didn't really ever see like a Times Square scene or anything like that. So it's just kind of like, what was the point? Like, I guess I get they're in college and they just chose NYC, but it's just like I feel like they marketed so much about like Ghostface takes Manhattan and New York City, just to like literally have like a subway scene, which like again like you know pretty much every major city will have a subway in it.
Marketing was gas, though. To be fair.
Yeah, like the posters were insane, and all the trailers were were very good.
One of the posters was in Times Square. I completely forgot about that. And they
with like
still-
the
It was
stab
like on
going
the-
down.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Damn, they should have got
But
Times Square.
yeah, so like I thought all the acting was really good in this one. So for me, honestly, like Scream 5 from last year, Melissa Barrera as like the lead, I didn't really love her performance. I thought like it left a lot to be desired. But I will give her credit where credit's due. I thought she improved this year. Like I thought she did a better job. So shout out her. And then they like this isn't a spoiler because we're not in spoiler section yet. But like in 2022, they started with the whole she's having flashbacks of her father thing. I never really loved that like whole involvement and plot line because like not only was he like a ghost face killer, like he was like the worst one because in the original one they like not only murdered, they did other things like that are near the same level as crime as murders. It's like that extra element that they did in the first one. It's like her Sydney's mother. It's like I don't know. That's why it's like even weirder when they keep calling him back, and he's not like they don't make him sympathetic or anything, but it's kind of just like ew. I don't really want to see you anymore, dude. But yeah, so I'll leave it there for non-spoilers. I thought it was fun. I gave it a 6.2 out of 10 for 3 stars. I thought the opening scene was quite lacking, and for me, it's similar to like Creed training montages. Like I said with Creed 3, like it's not necessarily that it was bad. It's just the other series entries have had such banger ones that like in comparison, I didn't love it as much. But yeah, I'll leave there. It was definitely like the goriest in my opinion. I feel like they upped the ante on that aspect for sure. Yeah. So yeah.
Seth?
Yeah, I'm probably the highest. Obviously, Cam hasn't seen it yet, so we don't know. I don't love any Scream film, I don't think. I like all of them, apart from 3, which I still don't think is bad. I think it's just perfectly average. I had only seen Scream 1 and 2, which I watched about a year ago. I don't know why I didn't continue it, and then last few days I obviously ticked off 3, 4, 5, and 6. I think 6 for me is my second favorite so far. Whereas I give it a 4 out of 5, and I did give the first Scream a 4 out of 5. I do think the first Scream is superior in many ways. I think a lot of the time I get this question is like, how can you put things at the same ranking? It's like it's out of a 5-star rating. Just because a film is the same rating doesn't mean I compare it to that film identically. I still think the first Scream is superior in my eyes. But I really enjoyed it. I do think it falls into the tropes that we've seen many times before. But I think I did say in my review that it also progresses it by furthering the brutality, which I enjoyed. I do think it was the goriest and most brutal. And I did really like some of the sequences as well. I think the subway sequence was really good. I think the shop sequence was really good as well. They were probably some of my favorite sequences in the last few films, I'm going to say. Some of the jokes, it is whatever. And this meta-analysis you can kind of like or not. I actually really liked the opening scene. I don't think it was the strongest in all Scream films, but I think it was the best in a couple of them. Yeah, probably the best for me in a few of them for now. And I just think it furthered it by increasing the set pieces and making it better. I do think it was predictable myself. I did see it coming like pretty straight away, to be honest. Which, in fairness to the film, it didn't really dampen my viewing experience because I think Scream is just one of those things where it's like a lot of people will say about Marvel, what I said about Creed as well, where there is obvious issues, there is obvious flaws, but I can kind of just sit back and relax and have a good time with it because it's stupid in a way that it presents violence and it presents, nostalgia towards horror films that I know and love. And, you get these references and you get excited about them because it's like, this is my favorite horror film, whatever it might be. So yeah, I rated a 4 out of 5. Obviously, we'll go into spoilers a little bit more because Scream's one of those films where you kind of have to go into that a little bit more. But yeah, I really liked it. I didn't love it. It's my second favorite in the franchise.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I didn't love it, but I did really like it. Maybe I'm stupid, but I truly did not see like that reveal coming. I think that what the Scream movies do a good job at is like genuinely masking who Ghostface is. It could have been the therapist. It could have been Melissa Barbaros or whatever her name is. It could have been her boyfriend. Could have been the roommates at any point. It could have been the fucking siblings for all I care. I think they do such a good job at masking who the killer is. And I truly did not see it coming. It was a nice little twist, especially given what happened to 2 of the characters in the movie. So it was a nice little twist. I enjoyed this movie. I really like what they're doing with this soft reboot. I mentioned in my TikTok review Scream 6 to Scream 5 feels like Glass Onion to Knives Out, where it just feels bigger, feels bolder. The gores, like Tyler said, are more brutal. They're more creative. They're gorier. But again, bigger isn't always better. I still like Scream 5 better, but I do think Scream 6 is top 3 of the franchise.
Do you have a top 3? Oh, okay.
I go the original Scream, then Scream 5, then Scream 6. Yeah, I really love these two these two soft reboot films. I also think it's hilarious that people rip on the MCU for being formulaic, but all of film Twitter is gassing up the Scream movies for just loving them, even though they are the 6 most formulaic films you could ever watch.
Pretty much.
I thought that was funny. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. I love our cast of characters. I love our new final girl. I think it's hilarious. What they're doing with these characters. I like that they just keep playing into the tropes of like a sequel or a requel or a soft reboot, and they even acknowledge it in the movie. And for some reason, those are jokes that for me are just not getting old. I don't know why. They literally they had the exact same conversation in Scream 5 about like who the killer is in a requel and a sequel and who you should be on the lookout for, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's hilarious.
They know how to use references to a way.
Yeah, I just like how self-aware these movies are. Like the people writing Scream are like, all right, these people are just coming to watch a fun slasher movie. Like we don't need to like Tyler said, he wants them to take risks. I don't think they want to take risks. I think they like this little formula that they got going with these Scream movies. Just sit people down in theater, give them 2 hours of a fun slasher, and that's it. They don't need to take risks, and I kind of enjoy that. I like that they play into all these tropes. But yeah, I went with a 3.5 out of 5 here. I think it's just slightly below Scream 5 and just a hair ahead of 2 and 4, and then 3 is the one outlier in an otherwise really
I was going to say
franchise.
Before we get into spoilers, do you want to just run through our rankings for Scream? So
I go 1, 5, 6, 4, 2, 3.
Okay, I go 1, 6, 4, 5, 2, 3. Tyler,
I am 1, 4, 2, 5, 6, 3.
All right, well, at least we all agree on 2 things. 1 is first, 3 is last.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, we can. Cam, I want to make sure you've muted us because we're going to go into spoilers for like 10 minutes.
I think we're good.
I'll take that as a yes. All right. No response. All right. So we'll go into spoilers. So in the movie, we are introduced to a cop. His daughter ends up being murdered at the hands of Ghostface. This is where maybe I'm stupid. And I know it's happened before in Scream films where people have died and then, they're still alive and they're Ghostface. If you kill someone in a Scream movie, I rule them off my target list. Like, you're gone. Like, you're not Ghostface. And I know that's a flaw of mine, but it turns out that the 2 Ghostfaces in this film are the brother and sister of Richie.
You predicted the brother, the curly haired guy, didn't you?
No, not at all.
Really?
They were
referencing that so much, though.
Bro, I swear. I know that's why.
That is like a double bluff for you.
Bro,
that's like a double bluff.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Bamboozled me. They referenced that like he's just like the new nerdy quiet friend many times.
It's almost like they can't put it in our face and then do it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I was like, okay, they can't just keep shoving this down my throat and then actually making it happen. Yeah. And I don't know. I honestly think that made the reveal good because I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I kind of get that, to be fair.
That's literally exactly what they did.
They literally showed you, and then you're like,
yeah, exactly.
It's quite impressive, if anything. It's audacious.
Yeah. And then I just, again, like, Ghostface kills the daughter of the cop who turns out to be another Ghostface. And then the cop comes out of that building and is obviously like hysterically crying. And he's like, you fuck with my family, I fuck with you or something. And I'm like, all right, he's not Ghostface. Like, come on. Like, his daughter just died. He's got a clear vendetta against this motherfucker. He's out here helping them left and right. I don't know. I think they masked it really well. Seth, I know you said you predicted it, and it didn't hinder your viewing experience.
Really?
How did you predict that?
I don't know. Like, there was a weird thing when it was just like, when they're in the apartment or whatever, and then she just comes out and says these random lines. I just had a feeling it was like the innocent neighbor, to be honest, the innocent kind of flatmate. And then I actually thought, I was like, with I can never remember his name. What's his name? The curly-haired guy, Avatar guy. What's his name in the film?
Oh God, I don't know.
You know what I mean, anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I know. Ghostface.
The flatmate Ghostface. Yeah, we'll say that. Curly-haired Ghostface. And I honestly thought at one point I was like, okay, so he's the killer. And then I was like, well, no, because they're shoving our face too much. And then I was like, no, they're gonna double bluff here, and they're gonna act like he's the killer, and then he's gonna be the killer. So maybe I just thought too much of it, but I 100% predicted that they were going to be out first because they were the flatmates that were conveniently with them, conveniently placed with them, answered their ad, whatever, tried to find it out, and then she just kept coming in saying random lines. I will say that when she died, I was like, okay, maybe not. And then he started saying the dad started saying some stuff down the line. I can't remember exactly what he said. And then I just kind of put two and two together. I wasn't sure the whole time if he was in it, the dad, because I couldn't really tell from his reaction. But I did think it was just too convenient for them to be placed with them in the apartments for them not to be involved somehow. That was kind of what gave it away for me.
That's exactly why I didn't think it was them, because like it was too obvious. Like
they'll start triple bluffing you next time. They're just going to do it again differently. That's the thing.
So it's like they're the new roommates, they're the new characters. Like this is just too obvious.
Well, but it's a trope, isn't it?
And like so many times they were like, "You're top of my list, suspect, curly head guys." So it was a double bluff. They executed the double bluff well.
I respect it.
I definitely didn't predict it at all, so I'm not gonna like sit here and act like, oh, I knew who it was. So just before I even say this, like I did not know it at all. But I did feel I had the feeling it was something to do with Richie's family, because you know how they did like the whole in this movie, it was all about going back in history through the screams. They had like the Scream 5 mask, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they were kind of bringing back all the histories. So I thought at first that's what they were doing with when she got a call from Richie. So it's like, oh, then the next phone call is gonna be from someone, from Scream 4, and then keep going back. But the fact that it kept coming from Richie, I was like, I feel like they must I don't think it's like a cloned phone situation. I feel like they have the phone. So I didn't know like it was like the family, but I figured it was like someone close to Richie, because I pretty quickly was like, this isn't going to be a clone phone. Like I think they just like have his phone. So yeah, that's like, because it's interesting because they just kept going back in history through all the Scream movies, but they just kept staying constant with all the calls would come from Richie's phone. But yeah, I definitely didn't predict it. It was a good double bluff, I thought. I think towards the end it got predictable that the dad was in on it, because like when they were in the park and then they decided to go, he seemed a little sketchy. Like when they were starting to catch on, he started to kind of like be like, oh, I don't know about that guy. Let's not go do this. And then like it's just another trope that like, and when like with Scream, when it hits on tropes, like that's not a bad thing. Like that's what it does. It like tackles tropes and talks about them. And like another trope with like the sisters, that they didn't really show her body, just completely dead and gored up. And that's kind of like rule number one for any horror movies. Like if you don't see the body dead, you should always be like weary that they're going to come back. So that's like the oldest trick in the book for a horror film, and Scream pulled it off pretty well, I thought.
Did either of you guys believe it when, at the end when they're in the kind of lair, whatever, the lair with all the Scream memorabilia and whatever, or stuff? Did you believe it when Kirby shut the gate and then she gave that look because he just told them that it was Kirby? Did you believe it? Or
she gave me bad vibes. I genuinely thought she might have something to do with it. Yeah.
Interesting.
She gave me sus vibes. And then also like I was fully on the dad's side for a while, especially after his daughter was like murdered. So once he like told the news that like she was mentally deranged, she hasn't been on the force for 2 months, I was like, shit, she's one of the ghost faced.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's just because they played it off so well that like I truly did not think it was the cop. Like of everyone on screen, he was like my least predicted guy.
There was points when I thought it might be the what's the main character called? Sam
Carpenter. Yeah.
Sam's boyfriend. Yeah. There were points when
I thought it was him the whole time.
He was never there, was he? When it happened.
That would have also been a double bluff. Like
exactly.
They were setting up two double bluffs. Like him being the killer would have also been the same. Seth would probably be saying the same things. Like it was just so obvious.
It was them too. Yeah.
So like they definitely set up two double bluffs. It could have been. So I don't know. I thought they crafted this pretty well.
That's why I respect the writing because, like, oh, come on, you mysterious neighbor who happens to never be around when the murders are going on, blah blah blah. Good-looking
Jacked,
guy,
able to handle
jacked,
anyone.
but he's also like really like deep toned and like really serious. Like, come on, like that's a killer in my book. But yeah, I think this movie does a really good job, like I said, of just masking who the killer is. I truly did not see it coming. Once the cop shot Hayden Panettiere's character, I was like, oh shit. But yeah, anything else we want to say about Scream? There's not much to it. It's the sixth movie in the Scream franchise, so you kind of know what you're going into. You're gonna have fun. You're gonna watch a nice little slasher with a lot of gore, and hopefully the writing does well enough where you don't predict who the killer is. So, anything else on Scream?
No, I enjoyed it. Really liked it.
A couple quick things. So I don't know. I get it. So it's they also did a whole double bluff with the requel characters, and they're kind of like, oh, anything's fair game. These people can die, and then they just don't kill anyone. So that's like another double bluff. But I don't know. I feel like it just would have worked to just kill someone off, mainly because they're just not adding much at this point. They've been involved. Courtney Cox has been a decently integral part for every Scream.
Yeah.
And she's just so not needed in this movie that it would have been so easy to just give people a good shock and just kill off someone, because she'll probably be even more shoehorned in Scream 7. And then
it's also the fucking siblings, man. Just die already. Dude, I swear to God, that kid got stabbed 44 times in the chest.
Is that just going to be a thing now?
It's just funny though, man.
I feel like it's going to be a thing now. Like Scream 7, he's going to be stabbed 80 times and survive.
Do we think that this will be the last Scream 7, or do you think it'll be a continued basis?
No, I think as long as, because like I said, the Scream franchise is a very above average franchise. I think the first one is incredible. I think 2, 4, 5, and 6 are very above average films. I don't think they're producing anything all time, and you may disagree with me there, but I think as long as they keep banging out these fun slasher films, Scream has a big enough cult following where they're gonna make $100 million plus every single time they release.
Everyone knows it's not like Halloween where they have been crazy consistent, like you say.
Yeah, that's
only one film for most people is
a little
bad or average, and then the rest of them are okay to really, really good. So it's people are going to watch them, aren't they?
Outside of Sam Raimi's Evil Dead trilogy, I don't know if there's another more consistent horror franchise out there. You can't say that about one. You make maybe Aliens, depending on how poorly you hold Aliens 3.
Or Alien Covenant. I haven't seen that yet.
I think Covenant and Prometheus are fine movies.
I think Prometheus is great.
Yeah, but I in terms of horror franchise consistency, I don't think it gets better than Scream. And Sam Raimi's.
You can argue other horror franchises' highs are higher, but then their lows are probably lower. That's
way
the thing.
Lower.
Yeah,
Halloween.
Scream 6 is doing very well at the box office and doing very well with reviews, so it's hitting both the money and the ratings marker, so it'll keep going. But I think for Scream 7, I think it's clear they're trying to I think they're really going to try to push something with Sam Carpenter.
I hope they do, man.
I think it would be pretty sick, and I feel like George said, this is making so much money and doing so well that I think they'll continue it forever. But I feel like if they wanted a natural way to end it, since her dad was Scream was Stu Macher, or was he was the other one? I don't know. He was one of the first guys.
Billy Loomis.
Yeah, Billy Loomis. So the fact that he was the original, bookending it with her, I feel like would be a very good way to end it all, and having her kill Sydney in Scream 7, I feel like would be a great way to bookend everything. Because Sydney in this movie is the same thing as Rocky and Creed 3, where there was a disagreement with the producers, and the producer even said for the Scream's case, at least they're we had major rewrites to the script because of her non-involvement. So she was absolutely going to be part of it. I did miss the hello Sydney on the phone. But for me, I think Creed 3 wasn't necessarily worse, but it's I feel like it made more sense for Rocky to be in that, whereas this is Sydney should just get the fuck away. When they're she's just gone doing her own thing, I'm respect, I would do.
I missed her solely because I very much fancy her.
Yeah, she is. I think
she's great.
Her and Laurie Strode and Ellen Ripley, they're the Scream queens. All right, so I go a 3.5 out of 5 here. Tyler goes a 3 out of 5. Seth went a 4 out of 5. A 4 out of 5. Mr. Cam Walsh has not watched it yet, but let's move on. We're gonna do our 65 review. again, and to quote Cam with Quantumania, me and Tyler are not about to argue whether this movie is good or bad. We're about to argue whether this movie is
Average
absolutely horrendous or just okay. Tyler, let's start with you because you tweeted that this is a 0.2 out of 10 for
so low.
Yeah, so well, first off, I'll say like we can talk spoilers because there's really not. I don't think there's anything to genuinely spoil here. Like, there's not a single plot point that would like ruin anyone's experience. That's not just like me saying like it's a shit movie. Doesn't matter if we spoil. Like, even if I loved it, like there's just nothing to spoil here. So I think for me, like in all seriousness, I think I just have a really low tolerance for bad sci-fi. Like we saw it last year with Moonfall. Like I just hated the shit out of that movie when most people were like pretty in a similar boat. Like it's a really bad movie, maybe even lower on Moonfall than 65. What?
Y'all done with Scream?
Yeah,
we're doing 65 now.
We're doing 65.
Well, I see that now.
We're doing 65. You didn't watch? Did you watch 65?
No, but I have Scream thoughts, just general.
Oh, okay. Well, give us Scream thoughts quick.
I muted myself.
Why
I
did you
told
say
y'all
this
to
before?
give me
Why
a
would you have
thumbs
thoughts
up.
on a movie you didn't see?
Okay, well,
Scream
I'll
thoughts,
pause my
just
65 rant. Go for
Did
your
y'all
Scream
talk
thoughts.
Scream in general?
I thought we were
Yes.
going to do that in the
We talked everything.
Well, we kind of talked about where we think it would go in
All
Scream
right,
7,
we'll do
but
that
that
with
kind of
watching. Go to
spoilers. I don't know.
65.
All
Go to
right,
65
Tyler,
then.
keep going.
Yeah. So I just have like a low tolerance for bad sci-fi just because like I hated Moonfall so much when I feel like a lot of people landed on like that's like a like sucked, but it's not like terrible. For me, like, so I saw this with my girlfriend because she's a huge dinosaur fan, and even she like hated this, but she's like, I'm giving it like a 3 out of 10 because I just like if dinosaurs are on the screen, I'm gonna love it.
That was me with Dominion.
This is a movie that I don't know from the opening scene, and I feel like anyone who like even moderately likes it and says it's average will like agree with this. The opening scene is rough, like the family on the beach. I thought that was really cringy and bad. Like I've never seen a family with such little emotional connection, which really kind of ties the whole rest of the film together because like it's like his whole motivation. And he's like he loses his daughter and shit. Like it's very predictable. Like in terms of like what the story arc is. It's literally The Last of Us, like the same thing. But so his daughter, every time she was on the screen for a callback or a flashback, I just wanted to claw my eyes out. She was just a horrendous actress who just needs to not ever be in a movie again. And like the whole
How old is she?
Like
she's probably
7.
like,
Yeah,
I mean,
my god.
that was a little rude.
I mean, it's one of those things. She's probably like 18, but she like looks like 14, you know, in the movies.
Oh right, okay,
But
that's fine.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
We'll find real age.
The whole whistling thing was just so corny, and then they just kept calling it back.
She's 15 years old.
You're horrible.
That was rude.
Whatever.
This is Tyler's Quantumania arc. I don't care what anyone has to say about it.
I don't know. It's just like, if you like this film, fine, but there's paper thin characters with zero character development. There's an unbelievable, unemotional connection. The premise is like interesting, but also incredibly stupid because there's no time travel in this movie. They're just aliens that lived during the dinosaur extinction. Not a single time travel instance. Cam, what's your question?
Are there 2 little girls or 1?
Yes, it's The Last of Us. His daughter dies, so then he gets a new girl to go on a mission. Like that's like his newfound daughter.
Which one's the bad actor? Is Naveen or Koa the one?
Koa's fine, but she doesn't speak
He's talking
English. So it's
about
kind of hard to
Naveen.
tell.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're talking about Naveen.
Yeah.
Okay, she's 14, so
Wait, Koa's older than Naveen?
yeah, Koa's older than Naveen. So
That's
you made
like
it worse.
That's surprising,
Son.
honestly. But Koa looks a lot younger in my book. But so, yeah, I don't know. He crash lands on this planet where everyone else dies, but somehow all he has is like a small metal shard in his thigh after crash landing that kills everyone else except him and Koa. So everything on it, like he keeps talking about like how everything's broken on his ship when really like everything worked fine. Like he had all his scanners, he had all his weapons, but somehow the one thing that breaks is the translator. So Koa speaks a different language. So they can't communicate the entire movie. So he's like trying to teach her things by drawing hieroglyphs to like explain stuff to her. Which, George, the one thing that like I laughed at was when he drew the mountain and he's like showing we're gonna fly off. Why was he drawing such squiggly lines? Like that's so confusing. Like if you're trying to have rocket take off, I would just be like, cause I was like, bro, you're gonna confuse. She's like a 8-year-old girl. Like why are you saying like we're gonna take off of this mountain? And I'm like, bro, like that's so confusing.
Oh, you are nitpicking right now.
I mean, no. So they're paper thin characters. There's no denying that. Like, there's nothing here to pick about for plot. Like, it's literally The Last of Us. Like the plot line. The dinosaurs are these big bad characters that get killed by a stab in the eye, like a big T-Rex, like she stabs it in the eye.
I would say most large creatures, normally the stab in the eye is what gets them. I feel like that's a pretty common trope.
I think I would die if I took one to the eye.
Yeah, so
yeah, but you're
Probably.
not a T-Rex. I don't know.
That's kind of
so
fucked.
this movie basically has like 25 jump scares, and after the first one got me, and then from there on I was like, oh, this is just like really stupid. They're just gonna do like whole like try.
Is it horror?
Oh, it's more scary than Scream for sure.
I didn't know it was in the genre as horror, like horror sci-fi.
You think this was more scary than Scream? Really?
There's like 20 jump scares in this. Scream movies aren't scary.
You also, no offense, you have like a low tolerance for horror.
Yeah. But I don't know.
I don't know. None of I think
I didn't find this scary, but it tried to be a horror more. I feel like because there was so many jump screams.
All right, I get that.
Or jump scares, but I don't know. I just hated this. I didn't think Adam Driver was anything special in this. I just thought there was a lot of stupid things that happened. The end was very anticlimactic. If you're gonna make I feel like making her not speak English was such a stupid character decision. Like just such a bad decision to have her be someone who just speaks a totally different language. Because
is it like Alien or is it like she speaks like Spanish or something?
No, Alien, some other random shit. But he's an alien that lived on a different planet during the time the dinosaurs came. But he's a white dude that speaks English, that's completely normal looking. So yeah, that's what I thought. Weird. Everyone thought this was a time travel movie. No, it's not. He's an alien. So just and like what?
Sorry. Is Koa then, is she from Earth or is she a different alien that only speaks
none of them
alien?
are from Earth. There's prehistoric time. There's no humans there.
Well, I mean, could have been like a caveman alien situation.
No, she was on the ship as well, and basically his daughter has cancer, or something, and in order to like provide for her medical treatment, he has to go on this. It's literally the Mandalorian.
This movie sounds awesome. This movie sounds awesome.
I want to see it now.
I mean, yeah, like you liked Quantumania, so I think you'd like this just because I feel like it's similar vibes. Like there's not like the whole arc is.
Time out. I did not like Quantumania, but I had to defend that movie.
Shit was trash.
I cannot be on the side of enjoying Quantumania, or I guess I enjoyed it, but
I'll wrap up my rant there. But I thought the score was completely generic. All the acting before, even Adam Driver, I didn't care for, and I thought the CGI was pretty rough. Like Star Wars in the '70s looked better in their space flying scenes than this did.
Oh, time out.
And this budget was the same as The Martian, so that's just despicable. What, Cam?
Can I roast Tyler with fact and logic?
Sure.
Tyler says Naveen, played by Chloe Coleman, is so bad she should never be in movies again. Chloe Coleman plays Loak from Avatar 2: The Way of Water. Tyler has canceled the Avatar franchise forever. Congrats, Tyler.
That's unfortunate, but this movie is written by Scott and Beck, who wrote The Quiet Place Part 1 and 2, except for the fact that John Krasinski rewrote the entire script after they delivered it to him, so they actually didn't write anything of note. Yeah, we'll leave it there.
All
Sam
right.
Raimi produced this. That's just a disgrace.
Tyler ruins James Cameron's career.
All right, let me do my little review rant. Like I said, I am not sitting here arguing this is a good movie. This is not me and Tyler arguing whether it's a good movie or a bad movie. It's arguing whether it's horrendous or like just okay. This is one of those movies, and I'll start here. This movie would have absolutely benefited from being like 2 hours long as opposed to the hour and 20 minutes that it was. Because I do agree with Tyler. Everything with like Adam Driver's family and the backstory in that family just didn't land for me. It did come off super corny, and there were moments in this movie that should have made me cry or at least feel something emotionally, but they just didn't because of how poorly the backstory of Adam Driver's family was built up. So I do agree with Tyler there. Everything on the beach, absolute ass. That could have been removed from my life. That would have made the movie better. I'm with you on that, Tyler. Don't you worry. I don't know what it is with Adam Driver, but everything he's in, he gives a really solid performance. And I think he carried this movie on his back because I genuinely enjoyed him in this movie. I was very nervous going into this movie. And like Tyler said, this is The Last of Us, basically. So I was kind of nervous going into this movie, expecting Adam Driver to like play this like protector type character, this mentor type character who literally just has to protect this young girl in a wilderness of dinosaurs, but he pulled it off. I mean, he was tough, he was gritty, he was very believable that like this was a character he should be playing. And then I think his relationship with Koa, the young girl, absolutely worked. I know Tyler, you said it like like just make her speak English. I kind of like that she didn't speak English. I think it just made for a very like emotional bond between the two of them because they have to like rely on each other without actually talking to each other, and it just made for this bond to just be a little stronger. Yes, Cam, I see your hand up.
Yeah, so sorry. I'm enjoying this, just listening to this movie because it sounds horrible to not very good range, obviously. So I just have a lot of questions. Koa does not speak English. Adam Driver speaks English, but they're together on this ship. Why don't they speak the same language? Never.
We don't know.
Right.
I said in the first sentence of my Letterboxd review is this film logically makes zero sense, but I don't care. Like I don't know what it is about this film. I swear to God, it's an hour. Again, I'm not saying this is a good movie. It's not, but like it's an hour and 25 minutes. It's just I had a good time with this movie. There was no part of this movie where I was like, wow, this shit like really, really sucks. There was parts of this movie, like I said, with his family and the backstory. The meteor shower was kind of ass. And I was like, okay, we could move on here. But I don't know. This movie just made zero sense. Why did he end up on Earth? How did he end up on Earth? Why do they speak English? Where the fuck are they from? Blah, blah, blah. I wish they dove into when his ship crashes, it is basically implied that like he's been away from his family for like at least a year or so, maybe even longer. Didn't feel like that. It felt like that was the first day he was flying off his planet. So I really do wish that they like made it feel like he was gone longer again, because there were some moments of emotion that should have hit way harder than they did, but they just didn't do a good enough job building it up. And I'll wrap up my review here by saying this once again. I think Adam Driver was great in this lead role. I think some of the action was very enjoyable and tolerable. I will agree with Tyler. There were a few too many jump scares. Again, I think Tyler just hated those more than I do.
No, I'm not scared by them. They're just, I think they're really
I think they're cheap. I completely agree. Again, I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. I'm not saying this movie is great. But again, the one thing in this movie that is really holding it up for me is that central relationship between Adam Driver's character and the young girl Koa, because I really did enjoy watching these two together. Little girl was adorable, and it was just awesome to like Tyler said again, just watch The Last of Us just in a different setting. So yeah, I went with a 2.5 out of 5. Tyler went with a 5 out of 5.
I want to pull on one thread you were talking about though, because like this movie should have been longer, and everyone saw like it's 90 minutes, and I first said like I'm worried about that, and everyone's like, oh, it'll just be like 90 minutes of nonstop dino action, which let me be clear, that's not this. It's a lot of traveling. Dinosaurs are hidden for most of the movie, and then they kind of jump out at different times.
Like a cocaine bear effect.
Exactly. It's very much like that. I mean, there's a couple like small dinosaurs that are kind of just like on the set, just running around, like little harmless, like they're not really involved. But yeah, it's not a dino action shoot 'em up movie. It's very much more like a Last of Us story about relationships. So that's why if you're making that kind of movie, gonna have to be longer to establish that emotional connection for me more. Whereas if this was a dino shoot 'em up movie, 90 minutes would have been great. But
that's also the thing.
Cocaine Bear was a great comparison.
A lot of people are, and I was a little upset about it too. This movie was advertised as a dinosaur shootout movie, and there was I don't want to say severe, but there was a pretty large lack of action here. Mm-hmm. I think this movie focused a little too much on the central relationship, which I did enjoy. But again, this movie should have been and easily could have been like 2 hours. Like flesh out a few more plot points, give me a little bit more action, and maybe you get a 3 or 3.5 out of 5 for me. But an hour and whatever it was, 25, 26, 27 minutes. I don't know what to tell you. I enjoyed my time with it. I had a good time with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple, like, it got a couple laughs out of me, can't lie. Like, the whole final, like, using the projection, like, the hologram of his daughter to make the dinosaur confused and start trying to eat that when it's just a hologram to save them. I was, like, kind of laughing. I was like, this is fucking hilariously bad right now. And I think the main thing is just, like, and I mean, I was probably overly harsh on the actress earlier, but whether her acting was good or not, I just mean the family relationship in general. Like even his wife, like that was like the least. Like I felt like, did they even give a shit about each other? Like actually, like not even just like not like I feel like they genuinely just had zero connection.
Yeah, the whole family relationship was really interesting because there were so many moments where like Adam Driver was like reminiscing about his daughter or his wife, or you're watching like these hologram projections of his daughter, and it's just like you're doing all of this to like shove his family down our throat, but like you did not do a good enough job at like building up this relationship to, one, even make it believable, and two, make me like emotionally invested in what's going on with that family. That is what holds this movie back like crazy for me.
Yeah,
like,
that's
I think
go
sorry,
ahead.
one more thing. If this movie worked at all on an emotional level, which I think it does a little bit between Adam Driver and Koa, but if it worked even more with his family, I think this would have been rated even higher for me.
Yeah, I would have loved if they would have just like, because it's just like such a stupid thing of why he had to go on the ship in the first place. Like we can't afford, like he's like not a pilot anymore. It's like we can't afford medical care, so you have to go on this like 2-year long trek when your like daughter's literally has like life-ending disease. So for me, I would have loved if instead that like wasn't even a plot line, and the whole like Last of Us storyline just came in from just like a quick just one quick sentence like, man, my daughter died like 5 years ago or something. So that's why he has this like daughter, because I do think the Koa relationship worked, but the fact that it played so much off of like his daughter, and like you always kept seeing the flashbacks of his daughter, I thought that the whole his family stuff was rough. So I really wish it would have just been like, he doesn't have a family anymore. They died a couple of years ago, but he hasn't really had a daughter in a while. So he finds Koa and he's like, I got to be like a father figure, just because I think the family dynamics was really rough. And I don't know, the ending I thought was so anticlimactic. It's just like exactly what you'd expect to happen, which is why I'm really interested to know what the other ending was, because everyone knows like a couple weeks ago they literally had A/B testing of like different endings. So it's like literally like the meteor shower comes like and destroys Earth and they just fly off fine. I was like,
is that how it ended?
Yeah,
That's
it ends with the extinction
That's
of the
great.
dinosaurs.
That's awesome.
Hold on,
That's so
Seth and Cam, if you don't mind me spoiling one part,
Yeah,
even though we already spoiled the ending.
I don't give a shit.
Tyler, the scene where they like make it to the top of the mountain and they finally get to the ship. They're in the ship and they're about to take off. That ship gets pelted with meteors. Like that ship is in 10 pieces, and then at the end of the movie they just get it and fly away like it's nothing. Like that ship got demolished, and they just pop in. They're like, let's go, we're go. Like at one point that big T-Rex thing like bit the ship, like bit into it.
Oh yeah.
And then they were just like,
and they fell down an entire cliff and just like yeah.
They survived.
I
Without
want to say
injuries.
just on. I think this is a movie Adam Driver deserves. I think Adam Driver gives damn good performances in most things, and I'm sure he's fine in this.
No, he gave a good.
Okay, that's fine.
I will not tolerate the Adam Driver slander here. I think he
that's
gave
okay.
a good performance.
I feel like Adam Driver's a good actor. He wanted a little bit of a bag, and I couldn't find how much he was paid for this.
I hope he got one. I don't know if he got huge one.
I'm sure he got a good amount of money, but they started filming on December 7th, 2020, and was done filming by February 21st, 2021. So this was a 2.5 month filming, and I'm sure he wasn't on set every day.
He was like,
good for him.
Yeah. He was like, okay, just give me a bag. And if I'm being honest, this is going to be a guilty pleasure movie of mine going forward.
Fair. Yeah, and I'm sure people will say like Star Wars is where he gets his bag, but I don't think people go onto a Star Wars set and are like, I'm just here to collect a paycheck. Some might, but I don't think when he was cast in that role, he was. So I'm saying good for Adam Driver. Get your bag, do a 2-month filming process and get out. So I'm sure this doesn't affect him at all, how this thing performs.
No, good for him. Get that bag. George, one other thing is like the technology in this world was super funny to me because they had like some pretty cool tech that was like super advanced, but then he also had a rope on him at all times. So it's like, what? This is like you have the most basic tool, but then you also have like a scanner that will literally show like where anything is at any given time. And like the thing that I kept getting confused with is he kept saying like, man, everything's broken in our ship. But I feel like everything they needed was fine. Like the water,
he used everything.
Getting clean water, locating things. Like literally everything was fine that he needed. The weapons, except the translator. It's like the one thing that breaks is like translating what you're saying.
The one thing he genuinely needs. Everything else, perfectly fine.
Yeah, and then bro dislocates his shoulder and just gives her a piggyback fine right after it.
Disgusting. Also, that was so sick though when he popped it back into place and just immediately got up. Like, come on, that was heat. I was like, that's so electric. All right, we'll wrap it up there. I did give it a 2.5 out of 5. I think this is just a super painfully average film.
Tyler didn't even give it a 2.5 out of 100.
No.
Right?
What? What's a 2.5 out of 100?
Well, you gave it a
Did you give
0.2
it a
out of
2?
10.
Oh, sorry, a point
That would
two.
be a
2.5. No, a 0.25.
Yeah, I was like, I don't go 2 decimal places,
Sorry,
Cameron.
sorry.
But
A
no,
0.25 out of 10.
and like I said, I do think people can get enjoyment out of this, but it's the same thing with Moonfall for me. Like I feel like this is very Moonfall of me to rate it this slow. Where it's like a lot of people will give it like a 2-star, which is fine, and I think a lot of people can get 2-star enjoyment. For me, it just seems like I guess bad sci-fi for me. Just like I have an extra distaste for. I don't know. What
Which
it is. But I do think
Tyler,
people can be fine with it.
Tyler, we gotta mention After Earth is bad sci-fi.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
You were so
bad.
bugging with that take. You were so
No,
bugging.
I rate After Earth
After
pretty
Earth
low
is
too.
so
I think
shit.
After Earth's like a 2 out of 5.
Stop. After Earth is a 0.5 out of 5, and it's in my bottom 10 of all time.
Yeah,
Not
After
After Earth
I
is
don't know
so
that
absolutely.
I think After
horrendous.
Earth is a 1 out of 100.
I mean, to be fair, I think I give it like a 1 out of 5 stars, but that's higher than a 0.5.
I'd
so my
have
take
After
stands.
After
No,
Earth
I
over
know.
Con-
I feel like you were a little kind to it earlier this week.
After Earth
It's so
is
bad.
better than Ant-Man and Quantumania and Wasp, whatever it fucking is.
I'd agree.
You're bugging.
I'd agree.
By far.
I'd agree.
I would slightly,
I think
I'm
that's
stating that now.
ever so slightly edge Quantumania because it's at least MCU. Who gives a fuck?
Good, I appreciate your honesty. That's fine.
Owen, if you're
where do I
watching
have
this
After
movie,
Earth? I thought
After
it
Earth
was
fucking
lower.
sucks, dude.
Yeah, I don't like it. Don't get me
All
wrong.
right, I went with a 2.5 out of 5. Tyler
4
went
out
with
of
a
100,
0.5
sorry.
out of 5. Tyler, where do you think Seth and Cam are going to land on this?
Interesting.
I think Seth will text if he sees it in the theater. He'll text us 5 minutes in. He's like, "Oh, this opening is bad," because the opening scene is the worst part of the movie. I think so. I think like that's why I think it really just sets it off on such a bad tone. I think Cam will give it 2.5 out of 5, and I think Seth will give it a 1 out of 5.
Really? Okay.
I'm going to go a little
Fair enough.
higher for Cam. I think Cam's going to land at a 3 out of 5, and
Man.
I also think
Man.
Seth is going to land a little higher. I think Seth is going to land at a 2 out of 5.
I'll try and say a nice couple
To be
days.
fair, I don't really know.
Is it out for you,
I don't know Seth's rating
Yeah,
scale
it's out,
well
yeah.
enough on like the super low end. I feel like I only know like from like 3 to 5 about where it'll land. So I actually don't. Yeah, I could see him going like a 2. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I'm
We'll
going to
see.
guess a 2. I'm going to guess a 2 for me.
All right, we'll wrap up our 65 talk there. Let's do a very quick review of Mandalorian episode 2 and The Last of Us episode 8. Cam, we'll start with you on The Mandalorian season 2. I know you probably watched that the second you woke up on Wednesday. What'd you think?
I was actually up at 4:30 with Bailey, and I had to get up at like 5:30 for work, so I just decided to watch it. So I did watch it at an early time in the morning.
Okay.
Fuck, it was good. It was very, very good. It takes us to Mandalore. I'm gonna spoil episode 2.
Yeah, spoil
review.
it. Go for it.
Because
If you haven't seen it,
Yeah,
just
and
fast
if you
forward
truly
like 10
care,
minutes maybe.
Yeah, fast forward. This episode feels like one that should be spoiled. This is like an episode that I really love because it's kind of a side quest, but a side quest for your main quest, right? So it's not like he's going to a random planet to like, fight a random goon or whatever, do a random bounty hunt.
Yeah.
They're on Mandalore. He's going to the mines of Mandalore to find the the life water. What water of life?
Yep.
Shit, I forget.
I forgot. I think that's what it was called.
It's something about life and the water of the living water, the living waters. I got myself there eventually. So yeah, it's kind of like a side quest. But then they're on Mandalore. He gets caught by this like weird alien creature thing, obviously, and that's kind of where the in quotes side quest comes in, because then Grogu, Baby Yoda, goes and gets Bo-Katan, who is just fucking awesome, man. Katie Sackhoff is so damn good in this, and she's badass. Get a little darksaber action from both of them, and it's so cool to see Mando not fully understanding the darksaber. Bo-Katan obviously has wielded it before. Also, I said that in my review. Is weld a word? Wielded. I don't know the past tense of wield.
Sure.
She's welded it before, I guess. So that was cool to see. And then we could talk about the ending of the Mythosaur. That's fucking awesome. I don't know. I like this show. It's a good episode. Pedro Pascal, again, get that bag because he's certainly not there. He's just he's in a booth reading lines, and then he goes home for the day. But yeah, this is just awesome. Just good episode.
Is
Good
is
action.
Mandalorian shot using the
the volume is actually what
Yeah.
it's called, not the sound.
Okay, the volume. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
So I said the sound when we talked.
Is
to
it called
Ant-Man.
the? Is it called
No,
the
but
volume?
I mean Pedro Pascal's not there because Pedro Pascal is definitely not in the suit. There is
No, I just meant like, 'cause I've seen it looks quite. I didn't know actually how it was shown. I think you mentioned.
Yeah, so I think the Mandalorian was one of the first things to use the volume.
Oh, right.
The Batman and Dune used it as well.
Yes, but the Mandalorian was first.
Maybe Blade Runner didn't use it.
Fair.
I don't think Blade Runner did. I think Blade
maybe it
Runner.
didn't.
Maybe it did. Maybe it did. Who knows? But yeah, it looks really good, and it looked. I don't know if they used it for like this episode. I know they used it a lot first season. Who knows if they still use it a ton? But George, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, everything you said I think is valid. I think this is a really good episode, and I really do like the way you said that it is technically a side quest, but it is a side quest that like has a larger story. Yeah, it's a side quest on the main quest. It's not literally like they just have to go to a planet and fucking get milk or something. One thing I really wanted to highlight from this episode is just the back and forth between Mando and Bo-Katan. I really like their relationship because, and I said this in my TikTok review, so if I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. It's just two sides of the same story. They're both like tragically affected by like an Empire-ruled galaxy and the war that they've been in. And Mando just feels more hopeful and more optimistic. And I think a big part of that is because he has Grogu. So he kind of sees that, yeah, there's a next generation that doesn't need to be affected by what I was affected by. And then you have Bo-Katan, who's just kind of like, fuck everything. Like, I hate this world. Don't talk to me. She just sits in her little throne all day and basically just does nothing. And it's just like, it's just two sides of the same story. And I think it's very interesting to watch them go back and forth and just have these, like, I don't want to say like heated or tense conversations, but they're definitely trying to like ration with their point of view to each other. And I just think it makes for a great conversation. But yeah, I like this episode. There's the and obviously when you're watching this episode of ReelTok, there will be episode 9 of The Last of Us, but season 3, episode 2 of Mando and The Last of Us episode 8 came out the same week, and both episodes do not have Pedro Pascal saving the day because I feel like we're just used to obviously Joel and Mando just coming in and saving the day. I like when TV shows bring in their side characters and just show us what they're capable of. I like that. We had to see a Grogu that had to kind of fend for himself for like a good 15 minutes.
Yeah, I like that you know, he knows how to use the Force now, so he's not incompetent.
Exactly. He
nice
knows what he's
see,
doing.
You know?
Yeah, we know how powerful he is. We've seen it. I like to actually like see him use it. Getting to Bo-Katan, getting back to Mando, I think that was really cool. I think that was just a nice little, you know, tidbit to his character progression in terms of like him becoming useful. I saw a tweet that said Baby Yoda better start fucking talking because I can't do all these goo goo gagas for another couple episodes. And I think that's just hilarious. Because
I don't think he'll ever talk.
I don't exactly. I don't think he'll ever talk, but like, I don't know how much longer I can take of.
What are you gonna do? I don't think he'll ever talk because what are you gonna do? You're gonna do the Yoda voice, but it's like a baby. You know, it's like I don't know.
Yeah, I think it would be so bad.
They're certainly not gonna talk normal. He's not gonna. Yoda fucking also. I think Yaddle talks normally in the Clone Wars. So Yoda chooses to talk like that, man. Fucking weirdo. Doing his wizard tricks.
That's why I don't think he'll ever talk. Because like what Baby Yoda's gonna start talking, be like, "Hey, what's up? I'm Baby Yoda," or some shit like that.
I will say they add R5, an R5 unit to their little team, and I wonder if this is the R5 that Owen Lars almost chooses over R2 in A New Hope. But because have you ever seen the dumbest theory in Star Wars that that R5 unit is force sensitive and breaks itself on purpose when R2 is getting chosen? The stupidest theory. I'm reading it right now. It's on Star Wars Speculation 2 years ago. Fuck you, random person who put this theory in.
Bricks.
Yeah,
there's no way people think that's what actually happened.
It's like a genuine theory. I've seen it many times, but I'm looking at one right now. So yeah, this is force sensitive R5 who is just a big baby bitch. That's all I got on.
So funny.
Uh,
Wait, I'm just
man.
picturing this R5 unit
Yeah,
being
it's
force
force
sensitive,
sensitive.
just killing himself in A New Hope.
I love
He
the term
literally
big
all
baby
right,
bitch.
Force suicide.
I wish I
That
could do that.
new. Oh, come on.
Sus.
Boo.
Dark. I'm sorry. That was
Boo.
dark. We'll move on. We're gonna move on to The Last of Us episode 8. Wow. I'm gonna start with myself. I know the host shouldn't typically do that, but I really want to talk about this episode. Fuck. And we're gonna spoil the shit out of this, by the way. So piss off if you haven't. If you haven't seen this episode, just fast forward like 15, 20 minutes. Ellie just became like one of my favorite characters currently airing on TV. That was mental. I truly, and I don't know if that's how it went down in the game, Seth, but I did not think that's where we were going. So just a quick overview of the episode before we kind of get into spoilers. Joel is still absolutely fucked. He's got that stab wound, and Ellie's doing her absolute best to make sure he stays alive. She goes out to hunt and meets these two guys in an offer for a trade. One of the guys goes back to the town to get medicine, and then Ellie and David, who is the leader of this town, kind of have a conversation. I really like the character of David, and I'm going to apologize from now if I start ranting about this episode because I really enjoyed this. The character of David, I think, was written really well. He's a fucked up character, but he was written so well. I was played. I truly thought he was like a good dude, and then he drops this bombshell on us. 4 of our guys went out on a mission. Only 3 came back, and we find out that Joel was the one that killed that other guy. That's when that episode took a turn, and I was like, fucking run, Ellie, get the fuck out of there. So she ends up getting captured after like a nice little shootout with them or something. And it turns out that David and this group of this cult that he's a part of, they're cannibals, but he's not telling the people that they're eating humans, which is super fucked.
I have a question. Would you do that if you were the leader? Would you like if you had no food?
No.
Would you feed people?
Not humans.
Me neither.
I think I'd rather die.
I've heard the other side, man.
Listen. I will say,
I understand
in hopes of not sounding fucked up, my answer might be different if we were actually in that situation.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's easy to say you wouldn't now, but
sitting in my apartment with a kitchen like 5 feet away where I could just grab as much food as possible. My answer might be a little different if
I think it makes it better that they didn't know. Like,
yeah,
I think
that's so funny.
Yeah, but do you not think you'd identify it? The meat surely tastes funny.
I don't know. Maybe they play it off as like rabbit's liver or something. Like
there's
something
like
but I believe you have a natural reaction, don't you? Like humans have a natural reaction.
I've never eaten.
I'm never gonna find out.
I
will never find out.
That's the thing. So I don't know. I feel like you'd know.
Oh God, so gross.
There's like a cool little Easter egg where they like ask what they're eating and they say elk or something, and then later in the episode is when they finally like bring in the elk. So they never it's like a little nice tease that they never actually had the elk or something, like, you know. Yeah, that's fun little.
It's fucked. All right. Anyways, so Ellie gets captured, and a couple more guys from this cultist cannibal place go out to find Joel because that's who they really want. He's the one that killed their brother. My man Joel hit a literal med kit and just popped back up to 100 health.
Yeah.
And
I was Googling like how much, what was it? Penicillin you can take, because Ellie was just fucking
pumping it in.
Going in on it.
Yeah. Like it was like she gave him a full syringe, and then the next morning full syringe. I'm like, I feel like you gotta wait 24
You gotta
hours
OD on penicillin eventually. But yeah, Joel pops back up, and I saw a bunch of videos on TikTok and Twitter of like the parallel of that interrogation scene from the game to the show. That is so good. That is so fucking good. Pedro Pascal's delivery of that line, "What town?" literally sent shivers down my spine. Like he screamed that. You can really tell like he wants Ellie. He wants to save Ellie, and he's not. You're fucked. You're fucked if you get in his way. And then the episode goes on. Ellie breaks out of her cage, and she has like this final, confrontation with David after killing. What was his name? James, who the guy that played James. Yeah, I thought that was a cool kill, but I also thought that it was cool that the guy that played James is the guy that did the motion capture and voice acting for Joel in the game. So I thought it was really cool that he was in the episode. Apparently, the girl that did the motion capture for Ellie is going to be in the season finale. I don't know how true that is. That is just what I'm hearing. Ellie puts 40 in this man's chest. Ellie puts 40 axe or whatever she was fucking holding in this man's chest.
The real number's 22, which is still.
Was it really?
Like, no, like I know you were exaggerating with 40.
Yeah,
the real number. We watch her dagger this or axe this guy 22 times, which is fucked and awesome.
Dude,
like when you're watching it, you're like, holy shit,
son. I swear to God, if she's not like recognized for Emmys, Golden Globes, Critics' Choice, blah blah blah, SAG Awards, like she fucking has to be, man. She's so goddamn good in this role, and just her facial expression and like her screaming while just putting this man to a permanent sleep was so fucking good. And then again, one thing I liked about this episode is that I fully expected Joel to come and save the day. I fully expected like out of nowhere Joel to walk in and just put like a bullet in this man's throat or something. But I really like that Ellie was the one that got herself out of this situation. And then God, when Joel embraces her and says, "I got you, baby," I was losing my shit, man. That was such a good goddamn episode. Sorry for my rant. Seth, what did you think of the episode?
Yeah, I really, really liked it. I think it's like third for me now, like just under
I think
three
it's third or sixth.
It might be second for me.
I'm like, it's like same level as one for me, so it could go third or fourth, that kind of. But I really, really enjoyed it. I think it was great. It's very, very similar to how it goes down in the game. I actually think the ending is better in the show than it is in the game. I think it's a lot more intimate and personal. Same setting, same experience. She kind of gets away from the cage, whatever. She runs David. They have a little. That's actually a really fucking hard level. It's like notoriously fucking difficult in the game, which is great to see. I love that scene. I love it when she comes out. There is actually an interesting bit where, remember on the last episode I mentioned that there was going to be a horde in the wall that was in the game. So there's actually a scene in this which is skipped over as well, which I actually didn't mind because I don't know how they would have fit this in the show.
I've seen a lot of, and sorry to cut you off. I've seen a lot of complaints on like this episode specifically has like a lot more development between David and Ellie, and so they didn't get that like relationship, and they because they're getting away from a horde, right? They bond in that way. So I understand that complaint a little bit.
What kind of happens is, from what I remember, because I haven't played, well, not that too long ago, when she first meets David and then asks for medicine, and then the other guy goes off to get it, they are stuck in, where they're talking in that kind of wooden broken barn thing, whatever it was. What happens is from that point, the kind of a horde comes on because of a noise. A horde comes on, starts like coming after them. They shoot off this horde. They run away from this horde. They kind of hide out somewhere in like this little factory building and fight off some more infected. And then kind of that's where the conversation starts, where he comes back with the medicine, comes behind with the gun. So it kind of skips probably 15, 20 minutes in the game of like a horde and then them kind of talking a little bit more, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I know people are saying that it was rushed in that way, but I actually think David in the game is brilliant. I actually think he was just as good in the TV show, and I think they got a really, really capable actor of doing it because it is definitely a hard role to kind of portray, especially within the scenes when they're in the kind of, when they're in the building and the what does the girl say to him when he slaps her? What does he say? You know what I'm talking about.
Wait,
that slap came out of it.
Yeah,
nowhere.
Whatever she says, I think that was a really, really impressive scene.
Oh yeah.
He basically said he's her dad.
Yeah, he pretty much like he is the dad. It's like it's a very culty atmosphere, which it is in the game. I think it just showed like the kind of depth that humanity is going to go to in order to survive when it comes to the cannibalism. There was a few things changed up there. There was also some Easter eggs towards the game, which is always nice to see. But this one stayed true to it, apart from the kind of horde scene. But again, I can say that I would have liked to have seen that, but I think it is harder to put stuff like that in a show sometimes. Where in a show they want to be. This show is it's not. I think people are going into this with the wrong mindset a lot of times, especially if you haven't played the game. That they're thinking it's going to be like The Walking Dead or a zombie show, where it's not. It's about the relationships, and I think the importance of this show is that it is intimate and personal, especially with those two. maybe now and again. I'll be honest, I would like to see a few more infected scenes just for selfish reasons because I like some action now and again. And because I have played the games, I know how many there is in comparison. But I also think people need to give it credit because it's very hard to translate a game story into a TV show. It's very different.
Yeah, I would say it's almost, I think, and I think, the infected would add. I think the infected's almost low-hanging fruit. You can add tension. You can add tension very, very easily if you add a clicker in a scene, around a wall or something. It's impressive how much tension this show is building without the clickers and without the infected in general. So I will say that's impressive, but I do understand, maybe wanting to see a little bit more. As a guy who has not played the game, I'm like loving this. Yeah. I am cool with this show, even if there weren't any infected. Like, this is just fucking awesome. But I do understand, it is definitely less, I gotta assume, and from everything I've seen.
But I also feel like, and again, I haven't played the game, so correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like the story of The Last of Us isn't about the clickers and the zombies. It's about how, because we're 20 years into this pandemic, it's mostly about how humans are surviving.
Yeah, definitely.
Like Pedro Pascal's character, Joel, he's like a very experienced guy. He knows how to avoid clickers at all costs. So I think it makes sense that we're not running into him as often because he is a very capable human being in this, pandemic landscape of a society. So I don't know. That's just how I see it. That's why it doesn't bother me as much that we don't see as many clickers, because it just feels like this show is more so about how humans have adapted to survive incredibly well.
You're exactly right. In the game, it's about how they're adapted. It's about how they deal with loss and grief and stuff like that. And I also think, like, in the game, there's obviously going to be more zombies and infected and action, because if there wasn't in the game, it'd be a fucking shit game because you need action in the game in order to make it sustainable. Whereas in the TV show, you need a lot more of these connection stories, and this is actually, the TV show is actually akin to the TV show is actually akin to the game more than people realize, because the game was built on how people are adapting, not just people fighting infected.
And to your point, you're exactly right. Like, what are you gonna do with a level if it's just like, Ellie and David talking, like, that's the intense part in the show, but that's not the intense part in the game.
There is the intense part in the game through the story, but then
I agree. I'm just saying, like, but where you're playing, if you were playing the show, you'd be like, this sucks. But like, I think for a show, it really works,
Yeah, because people like, if you expect a game adaptation to be a TV show game adaptation to be the same as the game, like, you're not very smart, I'm sorry to tell you, because it works in completely different ways. Like, they're so different. You cannot translate a game to a TV show and vice versa identically, because they're completely different forms of media. It just wouldn't work. But yeah, I really, really like this episode. Cam, anything else?
No, I think you guys covered it. I think this may be my second favorite.
Really? Above 3 then?
Yeah, so I think it'll slot in 5, 8, 3. And it's just me being stupid of this having more action. I think, it's always going to appease my brain, but I do love the third. I think for me, like 5, 8, and 3 are like 10 out of 10 episodes. They all are. And then it drops to maybe like a 9.5 for about 5 episodes. And then, whatever, like a 8 here and there. But it's great.
I still got 1 in my number 1, and then I'll go 3, 8. But 3 and 8
like the only person I was one.
I'm the only. I love
that. I understand it. I understand.
Yeah, I love anything. I love like day one, like just movies or episodes. Yeah, just like the transition from like a civilized society to absolute shit hitting the fan. Like,
it was like a film as well, to be fair.
Yeah, it was long. The first episode was like an hour and 20 or something.
It was like a feature-length film.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. If you are, of course, enjoying this episode so far, please hit that like button on YouTube. Or if you're on Apple and Spotify, leave us a rating and a review. It helps us out a ton. But moving on, Cam, do you want to do your,
Hey, it's trailer time.
All right, we've had a couple of trailers. I don't think we need to spend too much time. They're all kind of short and interesting. First one, I want to start with. We'll start with Seth, and that is the Lord of the Rings Gollum game. I've been seeing everyone rip that trailer to shreds on Twitter. So I want your thoughts because you are the resident gamer and Lord of the Rings are here. And by your facial expression,
I will buy it because it's related to Middle Earth and it's a game. I'll buy it. But the issue I have with this, they released like a teaser for this game a few months ago, and it obviously had a lot of improvements needed, especially with the graphics and the gameplay, which we haven't seen much of. And they released another trailer, and it's like a lengthier version of that, and nothing seems to actually improve in regards to how it looks. I just think it looks weird. Like, it's an interesting concept, having Gollum, like playing as Gollum and having him like move around stealthily, avoiding and trying to find what he wants. But it's just kind of weird, and it looks, to be honest, it looks quite low budget, and it looks like a game that came out realistically 5+ years ago. It looks the actual resolution doesn't look great, and I don't know if it's a choice that they've made. I don't know if they have to, licensing wise. Well, probably not, but it doesn't look like Gollum. It looks. I know Gollum. Gollum's from a book, and he's from literature. He's not from a film, but it just gives me weird vibes, and some of the character models are weird. I do think though, from looking at the character model, especially some of the orcs, it looks like it's made for a younger audience. It has that kind of animation style, which gives me that vibe. So I'll hold back judgment, but I will say it doesn't look like it's going to be very good. And I think that's the general consensus. But I will buy it.
The one thing I'll say, and I watched the trailer, but obviously I'm not a big gamer. Everyone keeps tweeting like, "Oh, why the fuck does Gollum look like that?" And I like that you said like it comes from literature. So like,
that's from people who've only seen the films and don't know. Like, this is
Gollum in the movies. Like, we don't know if that's what like.
Yeah, Gollum could be anything.
Yeah,
like we don't know. Do you know what I mean?
I know, like that to me is the most interesting argument. It's like, well, you can realistically like not make him look like the movies.
I would love an adaptation to just change his look completely to something different and just be like, you don't fucking know.
Like literally, like that's the thing. It's like, that's the one thing. Funny. Like, I don't think people can criticize about this trailer because it's like, all right, like this trailer should realistically be based off of literature, not the movies. So
because that's what came first.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
my complaint with Gollum is not that he doesn't look like Gollum, but just like he looks fucking shit.
He looks weird.
It just doesn't look great. It just looks weird.
All right, moving on, we got a trailer starring Jennifer Lawrence in which she has to date an unfuckable 19-year-old called No Hard Feelings.
This is the highest viewed trailer from an original comedy.
Really?
Are you surprised?
50+ million, and I'm gonna say horny online dudes
for sure,
so,
without a doubt. I
am one of those dudes
4 times.
I've watched it a few times. Not gonna lie.
It looked. I'm not gonna lie. It looked funny.
You think so?
The movie theater spot was way better than the one they released online with like the one online with like all the captions like everywhere. Like the movie theater one didn't have that. It was just like the trailer, which I preferred more. But yeah, like this looks like this gives such like 2000s vibes. And that's not an original thought because everyone's saying it, but like that's when we had all these like cheesy rom-coms. This one's more calm than rom, but like where there's like a star in the movie. But and hey, this movie might be great, and like I'm not saying it's gonna be bad, but like it's a movie that like looks like it's not gonna be anything spectacular, but it's not gonna be bad, but it's just gonna be kind of fun, funny, has some star power on it. But it basically like people made this comparison. It looks like kind of like a licorice pizza, but way more funny. But Jennifer Lawrence, like I feel like she's someone who's such a star, but people like hate on her so much and like say she's like she doesn't actually have star power.
Do people hate on her?
People hate on her because she says stupid shit.
I don't think because she's a relatable cool girl.
Yeah, like she just says dumb shit. Like I don't think anyone hates her because she's a bad. Like she's not a bad actor.
She said like I think she said like one dumb thing and people.
What was the dumb thing?
Yeah,
she said something about like no women are action stars.
Yeah.
Oh, the one from
videos.
I think that's the one thing she said that's stupid. And people like to get mad because she hated Mystique in X-Men, which. Yeah. Those movies aren't great, so I understand hating that character just a little bit.
First Class and Days of Future Past.
First Class and Days of Future Past are really great.
Okay.
Those are like two of the couple she's in. Yeah, I guess.
No, she was in Apocalypse.
Fucked her character.
And then she was tired of it, and she was like, "I'm out of Dark Phoenix," and then killed in seconds. But
she's got one more Oscar than we all do. So
yeah, no,
whatever.
She's a great actress.
Moving on. We have another trailer to another movie that I expect will be horrific, and that is the Ana de Armas, Chris Evans starring Ghosted.
Did you see the budget? Did you see the budget for this film for a fucking rom-com?
What is?
Like
oh no,
120 million.
No, not the same. We're not there yet.
Oh, what were you talking about?
We're talking about Ghosted.
Yeah,
that is rom-com.
Yeah, 120 million.
120 million.
Oh shit!
Fuck
well,
you, Cam.
is there? Wait. So
gaslight
this
me.
is not the same as the news we're talking later about the $130 million rom-com.
No, different.
No.
Oh man, what are we doing with these rom-coms?
Yeah, we're doing a lot of rom-coms lately. But no, this is the Ana de Armas, Chris Evans. I don't care.
This movie is a social experiment, in the words of Seth.
It's gonna be literally. It's Netflix produced, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
That's not a surprise.
No. Okay. I think we're getting.
This is the
Apple. This is you. I think you guys are confusing these people.
This
is the Apple. Yes, this is the Apple TV Plus movie. I'm trying to find the budget because I do not believe this is 120 million.
I'm sure it is.
At the very least, though, this is an action rom-com, so I would understand it maybe a little bit.
I'm sure it's really.
I'm trying to find it.
They're gonna Ana de Armas and Chris Evans are gonna need a heavy salary on this, so I can imagine the budget's gonna be pretty high.
There's so many scenes in the trailer that like they're so clearly not in the same location. Like so many people, like I saw like tweeting and being like, "Yep, these two characters were totally, absolutely in the same location for this scene." It's like so clearly like an Ana de Armas scene where like they just like green screen crop in Chris Evans in the scene, like standing 5 feet away from each other. I was like, "What are we doing here with this movie?"
But man, I know you should not judge a book by its cover, but I judge movies on their posters. I truly do.
This is a bad poster. I don't even think Ana de Armas is in that poster. I think they just put her face on something.
That's exactly what I think.
Yes,
dude. Chris Evans didn't really look like Chris Evans either. I feel like both of them looked a little uncanny valley.
Maybe, man. Maybe
I'm a huge advocate of judging a movie based on their poster.
It's like the CGI for you people kissing. They CGI'd them touching. Like, I don't think this is her, man.
All right, we're not harping on Ghosted for too long.
Time out. I want to say one thing. One of the best parts of like No Time to Die is Ana de Armas is very good action star. She's very good at that. So I'm expecting a lot with this, and she's going to be in like Ballerina, that John Wick spinoff.
Yeah, I'm
expecting a lot from her from an action standpoint. But other than that, this probably will be shit.
Was she in The Gray Man?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did she do in The Gray Man?
I didn't watch it.
She played like they're like.
Did she do action?
Yeah, she did action.
Yeah,
I forget.
She had the whole car chase. The whole car.
That movie. That movie is such a 5 out of 10 in my opinion that it has no memory space in my head anymore.
That's fair.
Like it is
that's
gone.
Fair. All right, moving on to I think the most absurd and interesting trailer we've gotten in the last week, and that is the Owen Wilson starring Bob Ross biopic Paint.
No, it's not.
No, that's what the thing that sucks about it. It's not a Bob Ross biopic. It's a made-up character. That's my biggest issue with this.
Yes.
No, it's Carl Nargle who like that's why I hated this movie so much. Is because it's literally they're just copying Bob Ross's like whole shtick, his whole look. But just it's not about him. Bob Ross isn't getting his foundation's not getting any money from this.
Wait,
he's not getting any.
It's not even loosely.
No, they're just making a movie where Owen Wilson seems like he's Bob Ross, and people are going to go see it for that reason.
Yeah, that's what pissed me off so much. Yeah.
I'm not seeing this movie anymore. I'm not seeing this movie. I don't care. I'm not seeing this movie.
I can't believe you guys didn't know that. And Tyler's tweeted about it.
I tweeted. Yeah, I tweeted about it. I was like, this is so stupid. How like this is not a Bob Ross biopic. And then someone replied like, well, why would anyone expect that? They call him Carl Nargle in the trailer. I'm like, yeah, but if you look at the movie poster,
I didn't watch the trailer.
Yeah, but the movie poster like is literally Bob Ross.
Iconic picture.
Yes,
exactly.
You know what that is? We got Tobey Maguire Babylon right there, where we thought he was going to be Charlie Chaplin, but he ended up being
perfect
just some
comparison.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm not watching Painted.
Like I swear, I feel like they've made this whole movie, and then they reached out to Bob Ross's estate, and they're like, "No, you're not doing this." And they're like, "Shit, we have to change the name
We're
of this
just
guy."
changing the name.
Yeah, dude. That's the funniest thing. Don't even talk about this trailer. Boo this trailer. Except
I'm not seeing it.
I like Owen Wilson.
No. Fuck that. I'm not watching this trailer. Moving on to our final trailer, and that is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Stupid ass title.
Come on.
TMN.
Did you guys watch this trailer? Because I actually enjoyed this trailer.
Yeah.
I think the animation was really cool. I think the comedy hit. I've never been a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles guy. I think they're cool
Yeah.
characters with some fun back and forth banter, but I don't think they've been done particularly well in live action. So I'm excited to see this animated version of them. Seth Rogen is producing, which is very cool. He's obviously a producer on Invincible, so he's got experience in the animated realm. And I enjoyed it. Cam, you watched the trailer?
I'm kind of like in the boat of, I feel like I was a big TMNT kid because when I go back to my parents' house, I had a lot of like TMNT toys, but like it's something that has not translated to nostalgia for me.
I'm the same. I've been told I was big, but then I don't remember.
Yeah, so I mean, this thing, it looks fine, but I can't say like it pulls on any nostalgia strings for myself personally. But who knows? It looks good. It looks good. So I'm not going to count it out yet.
Of the 5 trailers we talked about,
this is probably the best.
That's the best. That's my most anticipated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's trudge along. We got some news we want to talk about. It's kind of a slow, like Tyler said at the beginning of the episode. Our group chat was a little dormant this week, and I just feel like it's just because of not so much news that went on, even within like the nerd news space. There was obviously the big news that we'll talk about there, but yeah, there's not a lot of news. First bit of news, and we'll jump right back to these Netflix rom-coms that cost $130 million to make. Scarlett Johansson, Owen Wilson, Penelope Cruz, and Michael Fassbender. I don't care about this movie. I don't care that it's a Nancy Meyers movie. I don't care about the budget or that it's Netflix. The only reason I put this on our rundown is because I think that is the weirdest group of 4 actors and actresses you could have pulled together for a rom-com. Scarlett Johansson, Owen Wilson, Penelope Cruz, and Michael Fassbender.
Wait, Penelope Cruz.
Owen Wilson just such a curveball in there.
Yeah,
it's literally. It's as if they just put everyone in Hollywood's name in a bin and just picked out 4, and those were the 4.
That's kind of weird.
I'll be honest. I think most of this budget has to be going to them. Like it
without
just
a doubt.
To be. I don't know how you make $130 million rom-com. This is what I was talking about earlier, and maybe I understand. Maybe Ghosted is very expensive because it's like an action rom-com. This is just supposed to be a straight up rom-com. All you have to have are
it's got to be them, hasn't it?
It's got to be people in sets, and you don't really have to do much.
If Owen Wilson and Scarlett Johansson are the romance in this movie, I'm out.
Good for good for Owen Wilson because he just was with
just had
J-Lo and Marry Me.
But it's just unbelievable. But yeah, that's the only reason I put this in the rundown, because I thought that group of actors and actresses hilarious.
Yeah.
Moving on, we got a messy series in the works. A lot of people are just saying that this man is now completing side quests.
Yeah.
So the series will be animated, and it will depict Messi as a child as he confronts obstacles while traveling throughout a video game. This is going to do numbers. I don't care that it says it's targeted towards children and young adults. Everyone in the world is going to watch this. I would not doubt if like episode 1 of this is the most viewed episode of television ever. It's Lionel Messi. He is a god to people around the world, and this is going to do numbers.
Andrew visual. Andrew,
we love you. Yeah, if you're listening to this, we love you. But there's no doubt in my mind, Andrew watches this 4 times
over
on
repeat.
Yeah, I have this on repeat. But no, it's exciting. It really is. Like, I don't know. It's cool because he is like literally completing side quests. He just won the World Cup, and I think this is just a perfect time to. It would have felt weird if he lost the World Cup final and came out with this show. But like it feels right that like he actually won it, and now the show's coming out. It's just like a last hurrah, maybe.
Yeah.
And there's also no doubt in my mind that down the line there will be like a Messi biopic that we get. He's too big of a personality to not have a biopic about him.
You say that though, but there's not actually been that many football related biopics. It's kind of weird. The football film space, there's really not that much. It's mainly documentaries. It's kind of weird.
No, you're absolutely right. They really are. Maybe it'll be a documentary. Either way, we're gonna get pieces of media around Messi. Whether it's a biopic film or a television show or a documentary.
They need to make a Rush style biopic where it's like two dueling racers throughout their career that were going neck and neck and like had bitter rivalry, and do that for Ronaldo and Messi.
Yeah,
that would do numbers.
That would do numbers. Good God.
Make a Move It Like Messi movie.
right, next bit of news. This is to make Cameron cry. Jason Sudeikis says Ted Lasso season 3 is the end of this story that we wanted to tell, that we were hoping to tell, that we love to tell. We've known for a while that season 3 was going to be the last season, right?
Yeah, I've heard a ton of interviews where they just constantly reiterate that season 3 is the final. Like they were like, we had a 3-season arc, and this doesn't seem like a show. Maybe for some of the smaller people on it, because it did make like a lot of people very famous. It reinvigorated like Hannah Waddingham's career, and who plays Roy Kent. I can't think of his name right now. Like obviously made him a big star. He's playing fucking Hercules in the MCU now. Like it obviously made everyone in the show very big stars. But I think, when Jason Sudeikis and whoever plays Coach Beard, he's the other like producer and like showrunner on it. When they set out to make this, like they had like a 3-season plan. What?
Brett thingy's in the MCU.
Yeah, Hercules.
Yeah, Brett
Hercules.
Is post-credit scene in your favorite movie that you haven't seen yet, Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah,
it's just a post-credit scene, but yeah, he's in the MCU. And Danny Rojas is in the post-credit scene of Spider-Man: No Way Home. He's the bartender that Venom is at.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sure I can find some more, but every time I see like a Ted Lasso actor now, I'm like, yeah, nice.
Yeah, I think season 3. I think 3 seasons was always their plan, but I feel like in the past like couple, like maybe half year, they really started to pull away from like saying like final season, last season. They just said season 3. I think people. So I feel like that's what kind of introduced the doubt back in people's minds, because they were all saying 3 seasons, then they're like all of a sudden they're like the next season, and not using final. So everyone's kind of like, wait, they're gonna keep going. And we'll see.
I still don't think they've said like this is the final season, like other than this quote. Like obviously this quote implies this is the end of the story, but
I think it's still open ended. Even it says the end of the story.
I think they could be like,
we
we had another story.
Yeah, it evolved.
I'm gonna watch it.
I would hope you would. It's a good show.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
I tweeted the other day, I said like the most wrong I've ever been about a show is I didn't watch this first season until months after it came out, because I was like, I watched the skit when it came out. I was like, yeah, it's a funny skit, but that will not work for a TV
I watched
show.
it when it came out.
Such a rare Cam Walsh L.
I know. But yeah, that's the most wrong I've probably been about anything in media.
That's all right. It
happens.
happens.
And I said Avatar 2 wasn't going to make $2 billion. So
yeah, you actually said 1.4.
Was that my guess? I said once it hit 1.4, I guess 2.4, and I think it's sitting right there though. So I got
recalibrated.
It done, yeah, recalibrated.
Okay. All right, moving on. And
that was my hate blinding me.
There's not a lot to talk about here because none of us have seen the movie, but I think to all of our surprise, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves is getting some crazy good reviews.
George, earlier when you said that you judge things on their posters,
this is a bad poster, man. All of them are bad.
I was judging this movie on its poster, on its trailers, on its actors. I was judging the shit out of this movie. But also,
we all were, to be fair. Not just going to let George be the only one under the bus. We all.
I was. I don't care. I was hating. But also, I will say one thing. A lot of the early reviews are saying, go in with an open mind and have fun with it.
That's what people say with Marvel films.
Here's the thing.
That's what tells me this is going to be like a 3 out of 5 for me.
Which is even though a 3 out of 5 is better than what I expected.
Yeah, I was expecting this to be like a half out of 5.
Which, yeah, I don't know. It's averaging like a 3.1 on Letterboxd, right? Which is still absurd.
Dungeons and Dragons?
I never did. No.
I did.
It seems like so fun, man. I would love to play a game of Dungeons and Dragons with someone who would like get into it. I just don't know how to play it, so I'd probably need a lot of explaining. But it looks fun. Looks like fun time.
What are we at? It's at a 3.4 right now.
Jesus. Oh, so it has dropped then, because it was at 3.7.
Was it?
Yeah,
it was at 3.7 for a while.
I know a few people Josiah went to an early screening, like a surprise screen at Cineworld, I think.
Was it that like mystery screening?
Yeah.
The graph is heavily geared towards 4, 3.5, and 3 stars.
Yeah, so how many reviews does it have? Like 1,000?
It has, hold on, where'd it go?
But it has a bit more now, actually. It'll be on members, won't it?
Because they had the surprise screenings, and it also premiered obviously South by
It's
Southwest.
got 1.4K logs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm
kinda,
excited. I'm officially
was
excited.
right
That's
there.
a good chunk to hold.
Josiah gave it a 3.5.
Yeah.
I just.
I'm
yeah, but
excited.
he likes MCU.
He also said, "All right, relax, Seth. Relax. You like the Hobbit films."
Hey, those are good films. Relax.
Josiah also ended his with "Go and watch it with an open mind. You'll have fun."
That's what
which I'm fine with those kind of films.
That worries me when everyone says that, though.
I'm fine with those kind of films.
I just said that. I'm saying that about 65. So whatever.
Fine.
I said
fine.
We'll see.
Last bit of news before we move on to nerd news. And maybe we don't need to harp on this too much because we've spent a lot of time talking about Creed. But I think the expected a project focused on Adonis's Creed daughter Amara is being discussed. I think this would make the most sense to end the Creed trilogy here and just wait like 10 years to when she's a teenager and then run through her little trilogy. And then we also got note that a Creed anime series is in the works.
Oh yeah.
That absolutely does not surprise me. I feel like everyone is adoring like these anime references and fight choreography based on anime a lot. So none of this really surprises me. Does anyone have anything to say about this?
Do you think it was a chicken and the egg situation with Creed and anime? Like, do you think Michael B. Jordan truly is like being honest in his interviews? Like, I love anime, like, which I do believe he does, and like I wanted to influence it. Or do you think he was playing 4D chess as the big Hollywood player he is behind the scenes and saying, "Yo, we're gonna make a Creed anime series spinoff. Like, let's work this into the movie, make it feel natural."
I think he probably does really like anime.
I think he watches anime
casually.
Yeah, casually.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I don't think he's like a diehard anime
fan. So I don't think any celebrity is a diehard fan of anything because people are all mad because he's like, I really like these anime, and then named like the 5 most popular anime. Fuck off. It's just he likes these anime. It's fine. He's not digging into the lore of everything. He's richer and more famous than everyone. He doesn't have to. All right. He just
better looking.
And better looking.
Much better.
And better looking.
Significantly better looking.
I'm just saying it that like. Though I saw that a lot on Twitter this week, and I was like, "Shut up! It's fine. He likes these animes. It's okay." But yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
People gatekeep way too often. Like Cam is absolutely right. Like when he was asked what anime he watches, he did say like very basic. And once I saw that report, I was like, he's gonna get shredded for this.
Yeah.
But people gatekeep way too often. But yeah, I'm excited. I think the Amara one, like I said, would just make the most sense. Like,
yeah,
I think we're done. I truly think we should be done with Creed, like as the center of attention.
You can't bring him out of retirement again.
Exactly. That's the thing. You just can't do it one more time.
If they do one of those punch sequences again with her, though, because
I take that back. You can bring him out of retirement. You can't do it well. I'm certain of that.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Screw it. Do a Rocky versus Adonis Creed movie.
Yes.
All right, let's move on to nerd news. Not a lot going on. The biggest news of the week, Jon Bernthal is returning as the Punisher in Daredevil Born Again. We also have word that Eldon Henson and Deborah Ann Wall are not returning as Foggy Nelson and Karen Page. That one caused a lot of uprise. Jon Bernthal returning caused a lot of happiness. Cam, resident MCU stan.
Yeah, I'll also say they did announce like they're recasting Vanessa Fisk.
Yes, they are recasting Vanessa Fisk. Sorry,
and I think this comes down to I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say they would have brought everyone back, and it's just who wanted to come back. Because I don't think Deborah Ann Wall loved Daredevil, her time on Daredevil, if I remember reports correctly. And maybe I'm completely wrong.
It's been a long time at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah. I don't know. Like, do you really want to come back to that character? It's up to you. Maybe it's up to them, and they're just like, all right, we're going to recast if they want to. We won't if they don't. I think Jon Bernthal is a big one where they can't recast that character. So they probably threw a lot of money at him.
Had to.
Yeah, right. They know how big he's like the second most important behind Charlie Cox, and probably third most important behind Vincent D'Onofrio as well. I'm not as like in uproar as this. I don't know. I think you don't watch the shows for Foggy and Karen, and I understand they add a lot of weight to it, but if you get Charlie Cox back, I feel like, and Vincent D'Onofrio, I feel like that's all you need. For me, Jon Bernthal's awesome, but again, you don't. I don't know. He's great, but in my opinion, the Punisher shows aren't very great. So I don't think like I don't know. I don't know. I enjoyed them obviously, but I don't think they're that great in the grand scheme.
John Bernthal absolutely carries those shows on their back. It's one of those.
He's
like,
one of my favorite actors. I mean,
when people talk about the best comic book movie castings ever, very rarely do I hear his name thrown out, and I truly believe that it needs to be thrown out. I think he's that good as the Punisher. I will be that guy, Cam. I apologize. This show is going to ruin his character.
No, yeah, and I was going to say, it's going to make a lot to people piss and shit themselves, and just like poop.
I'm excited to have him back, and I have faith in Charlie Cox and John Bernthal in their voice, because I don't think John Bernthal would have come back if they like were nerfing his character. So I have a little bit of faith.
You're not going to get a prison cell scene.
No,
I'm certain of that.
Never.
But you'll get. I don't think it's going to be as bad as people think. People think I tried like I'm not that funny. I tried coming up with like a fake script, like the one that had like Morbius and Ant-Man, and I was gonna like have it be like a he's right behind me joke, and then like it's punish in time joke. I was gonna, but I don't think it's gonna be that bad, and people are like freaking out that it's gonna be like that. But you're not gonna get a
Daredevil's walk of shame in She-Hulk, I think, is what is lowering.
Bad, man.
It's bad.
Really
it's bad. It's so bad. It's so horrendously bad. But we're gonna move on before we get into a heated argument. A bit of news that we don't need to harp on. Bob Iger questions the need to keep returning to existing MCU characters rather than introducing new ones. He says sequels typically work well for us. Do you need a third or a fourth, or is it time to turn to other characters? I think it's hilarious considering a third Ant-Man just came out. A third Guardians is coming out. A fifth and sixth Avengers are coming out. And
to be fair to him, he wasn't there.
That's fair.
He just came back. So
I still just think it's a funny thing to say.
I understand. I think I'm just saying it wasn't.
You're right. You're right.
He just came back. He retired for a while.
But no, I do agree with him. I think a lot of people overlook just how massive like Marvel and even DC's catalog of characters is. Like, there are thousands upon thousands of characters that we can pick and choose from. I'm with him. I don't know if it would play to the whole cinematic universe and franchise thing too well if they were to just, give us one movie on one character and then we never see that character again. I think that would feel a little odd. So I don't know if his comments make sense when you're thinking about the massive scope of a cinematic universe that the MCU and Feige are trying to execute. But I agree with him. I think they need to pull a lot more inspiration from the comics and really just give us like these ridiculous characters.
I thought this news was just hilarious because like Bob Iger is now back as CEO of Disney, and I feel like he just like picked up a mic and started saying some shit that was on his mind. He's like, do we need 3 or 4 movies of the same superhero? Yeah. And also, these are coming out way too fast. And also, Solo, a Star Wars movie, that was just disappointing.
Threw an unnecessary shot.
No need for that.
When Rise of Skywalker just came out. Like, come on.
It's literally like I feel like he just had drafts. He had drafts on his iPhone for years. And he started reading them off. He's like, we don't need 3 Ant-Man movies. Also, Solo, disappointing movie. And just keep scrolling. Yeah, Little Mermaid live action, it better be good.
Yeah, that was so funny. There was no need for that Solo slander.
Yeah.
But all right, last bit of nerd news. Batman Cape Crusader will now be released by Amazon after being scrapped by HBO Max. Good for Amazon. Dude, I love that Amazon is taking chances on these shows. They took a chance on The Boys. They took a chance on Invincible. And now they're going to take a chance on a show that HBO Max scrapped.
I think the executives at Warner Bros. Discovery are the dumbest executives in any.
They're so
all executives are dumb and out of touch, but they're the worst.
I think they're just broke and they need to sell.
They are broke. No, they are broke, and the best part was they were like
they greenlit 2 seasons, and then we're like, nah, we're not doing this anymore.
I gotta see numbers for Velma, and I know it's
but now they're getting a second season of Velma. Like, do they really think a second season of Velma is?
Well, also they were like we can only release 2 movies this year, and they picked Don't Worry, Darling and Black Adam, and they both bombed at the box office. So
yeah, that was brutal.
I mean, neither of them are great, but should they have bombed? I don't know, probably. But God,
absolutely tough.
Yeah.
But all right, whatever. Who gives a fuck? Let's move on. Before we get into our draft, once again, we have become more active on the ReelTok TikTok, and that's a big thank you to Cam for doing a lot of editing on our videos. So shout out, Cam. We're also active again on Instagram and Letterboxd and Twitter. So make sure you're following us there. Keep up with everything that we're watching. I think we've built a pretty nice community around this movie talk. So we love to get you guys involved as much as possible. We'll start with before we get into our draft. We'll start with Seth. Seth, what have you been watching this week, my man?
I watched the other night. I watched Mad Max Fury Road because I don't want to.
Hell yeah, I saw that.
Anna gave it a 3.5.
What?
Yeah, but George, Anna gave Goodfellas a 2.5.
No. I thought you said you gave it.
No, 4.5.
Yeah,
there is like points. There is points which are like I don't love, but I think that last final 30 minutes is just amazing, and I could watch it over and over again.
Score, Junkie XL score on that movie.
Yeah, the score is so good. It's just an electric film. It's so easy to watch.
Yeah.
I watched obviously the Scream films that I mentioned. I watched Watcher. I didn't really like. I liked Watcher. I didn't love it, to be honest. I am
a little surprised that, and I'm not mad you didn't watch it. I know that you didn't like it. I know it's a very polarizing movie, but it did. And maybe you disagree here. It did have a lot of like very Hitchcock-esque moments. In terms of, like, tension building and suspense building. So I'm surprised that you. And then you gave it a 3 out of 5, so you still liked it.
I liked. I think technically it was very good. I think Michael Monroe. Yeah, I think she was the standout of the film for me. It just felt a little bit flat at times. I also watched Fall, which was like pretty horrific, honestly, in my opinion. I actually was quite enjoying the first 20 minutes because I'm quite scared of heights. So when I say quite, I mean very. So watching it, I was kind of getting a little bit, on edge almost, and I quite liked it. And then,
did you predict the twist?
So that twist, I said to Anna, I was like, if this is the twist, this is fucking shit. And guess what? It was the twist, and was shit.
I'm never gonna watch this movie. Can you tell me what the twist is?
Yeah, if you're gonna watch Fall,
I don't care, but
I haven't watched it yet. I'm not watching it.
Yeah. So two people. She's like a free climber, that's associated with that do the extreme climb, whatever. She climbs with her friend and her boyfriend at the time. Boyfriend falls, dies. She goes out of climbing for a while, can't remember how long. And then her friend convinces her to climb this kind of, what is it, like a radio tower?
Satellite tower, radio tower.
Satellite tower, yeah. They climb up there. They basically get stuck at the top. And they're at the top of this, like, I don't know how fucking high it is, and they're just chilling and like laughing about stuff. Even when they're stuck, they're laughing. It's like no one is out like this. And then basically, there's like a scene where her friend falls down to this satellite below, and basically she falls, and then she manages to get back up, and it's like, how does she manage to get back up? And and like for like half an hour for the rest of the film, she's like talking to a friend, and then it's like, oh my god, the friend's actually dead. That's the plot twist, that when she fell, she died. But it's so obvious in the film. Like it's crazy obvious in the film.
No way.
It's just stupid. And also, the film heavily relies on trying to be the friend is like an influencer, and so all the language is like, I wonder how many like hits I'm gonna get on this video. And it's just like you are trying way too hard to be like generational almost. And I honestly think this film, with a couple of decent actors, less of that context, I think it was an interesting concept that was just really executed badly. And then I watched a Bergman or two, and then I also watched Other Side of the Box yesterday, George, which I actually really liked.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it came from my YouTube.
It's like so weird. Yeah, it's such a weird.
It had like 10 million views. And then I checked the reviews on there, but some people are like, oh, it's actually quite scary.
Yeah.
It has more like suspense in 15 minutes than a lot of modern horror films.
There's another one like that that's like a short.
I watched a couple of them.
I like so vividly remember watching these. Like they were all over Facebook.
On the same YouTube channel.
Yeah.
There's some of them are good, man.
There's one I gotta find for you that I remember being like really fucking scary, but I don't remember the name. I didn't remember the name of that one until I saw you log it on Letterboxd.
It's not the one with the face, is it? They're like salad fingers looking.
No. I gotta find it. I know I can, but All right, movie. Cam, what have you been watching? I know you haven't watched a lot this week.
Yeah,
But...
just down week, like I said. I watched all the Screams. I watched Badlands, which we'll be reviewing for the Patreon, and I watched Chang Can Dunk.
Oh, you did watch it, God.
Yeah. I
did.
And to my surprise, it has a 93 on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's where I got the 3.1. It's a 3.1 out of 5 on Letterboxd. So, it's not a 3 out of 100, and I think for that it's a 10 out of 10. But in reality, it's a 35 out of 100 for me.
Did he dunk?
So I'll explain.
Answer the burning question?
Well, the title answers it. He can,
right?
But I'll explain. This will be my time is just discussing this movie. I like to think I'm a guy who can enjoy a children's movie. I can, I'm cool with a lot of animated movies. I'm cool with a lot
Marvel
of
movies.
Okay, I get it. And I like to think I am. This one was just a little too cheesy. It's just stupid. It's okay. So he makes a bet that he can dunk by the end of football season. And he's this 5'8" guy who just is. He's just a scrawny little guy. He's not going to be able to dunk. And
on
then
a full height rim.
10-foot rim.
10 foot.
There's like a do you guys know what's his name when Kyrie Irving dressed up as the old man?
Uncle Drew.
Uncle Drew, thank you. So there's an Uncle Drew type character but this guy's an Urkel guy who posts YouTube videos, and he's just a baller, but he dresses up as like Urkel, and he's like, "Did I do that?" every 10 minutes. And so he gets this is a very small YouTuber at the time, and so he gets him to train him on how to dunk. There's a Rocky-esque montage of what's the song, "The Middle" by
Aaron
it just
Morrison
takes
said.
some time.
Oh no,
No, it
The
just
good
takes
old
some
days.
time.
Jimmy Eat World, maybe.
Yeah,
Jimmy Eats World.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. So there's one of those like Rocky-esque training montages, and it's the night before, and he's right there. He's almost dunking, and then obviously it's like there's like 45 minutes left, so I know this is not the end of the movie. And then it like shows him getting up in the middle of the night, and then it skips to the next day, and he lowered the rim probably like 3 inches or something, not noticeable. And then he dunks, and he goes viral on YouTube, and there's millions of views, and he goes to an NBA post party with
Is it
ESPN.
similar to like Mike? I don't know if you guys watched it when you were a kid. But
no, it's not similar. It's much worse than
but I mean, really though, because Like Mike's low rated. Like I could still.
I haven't rated it. I haven't watched it since I was a kid. I remember liking it. But it's. And then, so he fakes the dunk, gets invited to ESPN, whatever. Oh, Richard Jefferson is in it. And is it DeAndre Jordan? I forget. No, it's not DeAndre Jordan. Someone else. I forget who. They're in it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, sick, whatever." And then he's outed as not dunking, and then at the end of the movie he dunks and is all like, "Oh, I just wanted people to see me." You would get slandered on social media, dude. It ends happy. Him and his mom don't get along, but then like she realizes he has potential and he works really hard. Fuck, you would get attacked on social media, dude. And like if you said you could dunk and went viral and then made a video saying like you lied and just wanted to be seen, the internet would remove you from this earth. Like horribly. And that's my biggest takeaway, but I don't know, it's got some heart, it's got some emotion, it's a Disney movie, whatever. It's nothing, but it's fine.
I won't watch it.
Yeah, you don't have to. I just that's the movie.
Thanks. I'm gonna log it right now.
Yeah, like I gave it to you.
Right.
But that's all I have. It's
Tyler,
whatever.
What did you watch this week?
Yeah, so watched all the Screams, of course, watched Badlands, and then watched Birdman, which I enjoyed. It took me longer to get, so I'm only comparing it to 1917 because it is a whole like continuous shot thing. It took me longer to get invested into Birdman than 1917. I think it took me like 45 minutes to a whole hour.
Is that a one shot film? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it took me like at least like almost half the movie until I was like, okay, I'm like gotten invested into this plot and I'm ready. So I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. Like I know a lot of people were upset it didn't win Best Picture at the Oscars. I wouldn't put it that high for me. Then I watched two movies I think are just like such a 3 out of 5, like fine movie. Maybe like, 3 out of 5. And maybe these are hot takes, but like Easy A, I think that's just a very just fine movie.
I have that 3 out of 5.
Yeah, 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the next one's kind of like a hot take. I feel like because I watched it as a kid and obviously loved it, and it's like one that just didn't age well for me, I guess. That's Talladega Nights. That's the first time I watched it in a long time. I think it's a very run-of-the-mill average movie, even though I did love it growing up. But, you know, some of the comedies just don't age the best. Some age better than others. So that's pretty much all I've been watching. And then now I'm burning through The Last of Us, getting through that, and I'll be ready for the finale.
How are you finding it? Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, super. I mean, like, I feel like I don't know everything from the video games, but I feel like I know a decent amount more than the people that are like blind going into it. So like quite a few of the major plot points I know what are coming. Not just the ending. Like I know some other things too, but so far I'm really enjoying it. I'm only 2 episodes in, but you know the first one's like the longest. I think right. First episode's the longest.
Yeah, 1 hour 20.
So today I should be able to burn through the rest of them without too much issue. And that's it for me.
Yeah. Same with me, just all the Scream movies. I feel like everyone did that. I watched the McPherson tape, which was Seth. I think you would enjoy it. It's a quick 64-minute. The McPherson tape. It's like a UFO encounter type movie. It's found footage, which I really like. I think you guys should all check it out. It's super quick and super
interesting.
Easy. The only website I could watch it on had ads though, which kind of like commercials, which fucking suck. I watched Deep Impact, which is like it's like an Independence Day 2012 type end of the world movie. Don't Look Up with the meteor and shit. Really interesting. I weirdly find comfort in like end of the world movies. I don't know why. Badlands, of course. I watched Catching Fire last night, which is a super underrated movie. Easily the best of that franchise.
Genuinely very good.
Yeah, it's a very good movie. And then again, I watched The Flashpoint Paradox, which I seem to just be watching once a month. But that's it on what I've been watching. But let's move on. First off, massive congratulations to a first-time draft winner, Mr. Seth.
Say, right, I have actually won 2 things, but one of them wasn't a draft.
Now, so this is a draft, though.
This is a draft.
No, one of them wasn't a draft, but I just want to get it in there. I did win something else.
The Halloween costume. The Halloween costume. Yeah. So, shout out.
Keep
Seth.
the good times rolling.
But for our draft tonight, well, technically yesterday, when you guys are going to be listening to this episode, was the Oscars. So our draft's going to be Oscar themed. What we have to do is we have to pick 5 rounds, as always, and we have to pick 1 Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, Best Actor, and Best Original Score. You don't have to pick them in that order. You can pick them whenever, and you have to pick the winner. You cannot pick the
nominee.
The nominee.
Yes.
So the order is Cam, George, Tyler, and Seth. I'm super curious to see where everyone goes with these, but let's start us off. Cam?
Guys, do we want to mention the producers?
At the end.
At the end, yeah.
Oh, at the end. Okay,
Yeah,
do we not use... Oh, okay.
I don't know, man. I feel like I am definitely the worst at this because I don't necessarily care for the Oscars as much as you guys.
What does that have to do with literally anything?
Change anything?
Well, no, I don't know. So sorry. I just meant like I don't really know what's like a good pick. So I think I'm just gonna pick some popular things.
Just pick your favorite films.
I don't know. I'm starting off with Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood.
Damn.
That was gonna be my first pick.
as my best actor.
Oh, that's annoying, man. I thought I was going to get the best actor first one.
Yeah, I didn't know what to start with. I don't know.
No, that's a great.
That's a good first.
I know it's a good start because I've abandoned my child. I've abandoned my boy.
That was good. I thought I was going to get an actor for the first pick. That's annoying.
I genuinely think he's great, man. Like I really
that's a first rounder right there.
Okay.
I'm gonna go where I thought Cam would go. I'm gonna take my Best Picture winner first, and I'm gonna take The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King.
Oh, Seth.
Fuck you, man.
I'm gonna be honest. gonna be honest. I have a plan. So don't worry about me, George.
Don't worry, darling.
Don't worry, darling.
I
Yes,
am not worrying, brother man.
I think you're worrying.
Okay, where do I want to go here? Those first two picks kind of threw a curveball in my plans. I will go with. Man, you know what? Fuck. See, it's tough because like the things I want, I don't think Seth is gonna take. So like I'm trying to be strategic.
Do it then.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way to be strategic.
Yeah, I don't think there is a strategic route here.
I thought
do
there
what you
was,
want.
but apparently not.
Yeah, you know, whatever. Like I wanted to get Daniel Day-Lewis and There Would Be Blood. I knew in the third pick it would be tough to get that one. So I'm gonna go with. Hate the movie or not, it's Joaquin Phoenix for the Joker.
Damn it! That was my. I thought that was a vote pick.
I actually forgot he won Best Actor. Shit.
No,
my bad.
Absolutely my best actor was Daniel Day-Lewis. I honestly did not expect Cam to go there, but like I was more worried about Seth,
I almost went Joaquin Phoenix Joker, but then I thought like I gotta at least go something big. I don't know.
All right.
If Cam didn't pick Daniel Day, that would have been my first pick. Just so you know, Tyler. If that makes you feel any better.
I was stupid to think it would get to 3.
Yeah.
My name is Jeff. I will go. I got 2 picks here. I'll go Best Director. I'll go Martin Scorsese.
Okay.
For The Departed, that's his only win.
Yeah,
right?
The Departed. Yeah. Best Actor. Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna go Best Actor. I'm between 2. It's only right, eh?
You can't say you could only pick one.
I know. If I'm going Martin Scorsese, it's only right that I pick a performance in his film. I'll go Robert De Niro's win for Raging Bull.
Okay.
All right. I will pick my score. Gotta be done. La La Land.
Okay, good.
I would pick since this movie is coming out in the future. I wish I could have picked Babylon since that's better win score tonight, and I would have preferred Babylon score. But yeah, picking La La Land.
Has not won yet. I don't know if I'm lost, but like I feel like there's so many directions you could go here. But I think I'm gonna take my best actor right now.
I know it.
You don't know it.
Do I not?
You do know it. I don't know.
Your favorite actor?
No.
Oh.
My favorite actor only won for best supporting actor. Christian Bale is my favorite actor.
Oh, okay, so your second favorite actor.
I was gonna ask if we could do supporting, but
Jake Gyllenhaal is your second favorite actor.
Oh, Jake Gyllenhaal is my second favorite actor. But no, I'm gonna go with best actor, and then I'm gonna take Denzel Washington in Training Day.
Oh,
nice.
I like that.
Maybe you don't like this
like
guy
that
as much as I thought you liked this guy.
Okay.
Maybe he just hates him, Seth.
Okay, so it's me now.
I'm super curious who you're thinking of right now.
Maybe you think he's the best actor.
I think DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Yeah, DiCaprio's good.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
I don't think I need to take this one now because I'm pretty sure it would get back to me, but maybe not. I'm gonna go with best score, and I'm gonna take Star Wars. Feel like that's a fair pick for myself. But
Was it A New Hope that won?
Yeah, it was A New Hope. It was the original Star Wars.
Is that John Williams' only Star Wars win?
Yes.
Yes,
I believe so.
I'm pretty certain that's.
I'm surprised Empire Strikes Back. I don't know what won in 1980. To be fair, who knows?
I looked and it wasn't anything I knew, but and then where were my best actresses? Sorry, I have tabs open. I think I'm gonna go a best actress next, and probably steal this one from Mr. Tyler and go with Emma Stone from La La Land.
Oh,
that wasn't where I was going there, but
that's fine. That's fine. I like her. I like her a lot in that, and I don't know. I love that movie. I love her, so I
am also going to take my best actress.
I think I know who
I fear
You're
that
gonna
I'm
steal it
stealing this
Seth.
from Seth,
Yeah.
and that is Natalie Portman in
Yeah.
Black Swan.
That was my next pick.
No, you're not.
I was.
I thought
thinking
Cam
about
was
that.
going to steal that one from
You know,
me. No, George.
That's
stole
where
it
I
from me.
thought Cam was
I
going.
can't
for.
lie to you. I forgot that she won, so I
Yeah.
haven't even got her down. I mean, she
there you
would
go.
be.
She did win.
Yeah, I forgot that she won. Fair enough. Okay.
Oh, man, the best actress winners. I don't know. It's not. None of them are really jumping out at me as my favorite performances from those years by any stretch of the imagination.
I always find that I love a supporting performance more than an acting.
I agree. There was more
like.
supporting ones. Yeah.
Like just in general, I feel like I prefer. I don't know.
I'll go director now, and I'll go with. Wait, is my pick right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go with the director who easily had the most fun ever on the night of him winning his awards, and that's Bong Joon-ho for Parasite.
Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah.
My man's a king.
That's a good pick.
Okay.
Deserved.
What's been sorry? Okay, okay, cool.
You have actress, score,
And
and picture.
okay. I'm gonna go for my score. I'm gonna say Fellowship of the Ring.
Okay.
It wouldn't be me if I didn't pick that. And damn. See the actress one. I've got 4 here, and I will happily take any of these 4. So I don't care if I don't get any of these. Like if anything gets taken. So I'm gonna go with Best Picture, and I'm gonna take my favorite film that's ever won a Best Picture, apart from the one George took, and that is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's a good pick.
It's a good pick. Am I the only one who needs the best actress still?
Yeah, you need actress. And
No, I need
picture.
actress as well.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Well,
Seth needs actress.
Well, I'll wait on that since I'll get it back to me before it goes to you. I will go with Best Picture, and we'll go The Godfather.
yeah,
I feel like I've been picking that a lot lately, and I think it does like kind of shit for votes for some reason, but
that had to
whatever.
be picked though.
No, I just think whatever doesn't do well in the first 2 rows does shit for votes.
Yeah, that's right. I just need the homie on my list, so I'm gonna go best score, and I'm gonna take Dune.
Yep.
I
Interesting.
like that.
Who
I
did
like
who
that.
did the score for that? Was it Hans
The
Zimmer?
goat,
Hans
the
Zimmer.
goat, the goat.
I need to watch that before I see him. I need to watch that.
Yeah,
soon.
you
you're
do.
right. God, I can't believe you're saying
Yeah.
I'm so upset about that.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Oh shit, it's me. Sorry, I was in another world.
Cam, it's you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go best director. You know, I was trying to go a little apart from what I normally do and maybe bring it back. You know, go a little later, but I'm a 99 baby. I'm a 2000s baby. Let's be honest. So I'm gonna go something more recent per usual. Not too recent. I'm going to go one of my favorite directing performances with Joel Coen and Ethan Coen for No Country for Old Men.
Nice,
man.
That's a great choice, Cameron. I like
Well,
it.
thank you. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. And I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
And then Best Picture, I'm going to take what is without a doubt a Best Picture, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm calling my shot, bitch.
No.
Come
Throwing a
on.
flag.
I think you have a
Yeah.
Calling my
higher-
shot. By the
If I
time
couldn't
this
for
episode
Babylon, you
drops-
can't for this.
Well, I didn't think you were make your Babylon comment before I got to my
That's
Floyd.
a veto.
By the time this episode,
He won't
releases-
win with that.
Veto. It's a
Oh, he
veto.
might do actually if they win because it'd be relevant.
Imagine
No,
everyone's
veto.
listening to this and Top Gun Maverick is just one Best Picture.
That'd be so fucking crazy.
Mark my words. By the time this episode releases, Best Picture to Everything Everywhere All at Once.
And
Yeah,
I
but you're
agree
gonna have
with
to.
you,
It
and I
does
agree
not
with you, but you
now
can't
when we're
draft it.
recording. It's not
Yeah.
now when we're recording, so change it.
Yeah, that's a veto. That's a veto.
This is some bullshit.
Surely you can find another great.
I
Best
know I
Picture
can. I
option.
just didn't even.
I don't have a list. Of
I
this.
didn't even look. I didn't even look because I knew my answer.
It's a bad answer.
It's a correct answer actually.
It'd be a bad answer with the films that are on here anyway. I would argue with the films that are left.
Yeah, maybe
There's
for
some-
you, but guess what?
No,
I'm
you've
here
got
to-
a film
I'm here to
rated
win
higher.
draft.
You've got a film rated higher than Everything All at Once that won Best Picture.
I know, but I don't. I'm just trying to take the King's Speech. No, that was a joke. Fuck. All right, fine. I'm gonna take one that I really love, and it's not my highest rated, but I do love it, and that's Gladiator.
Oh,
I'm a big Gladiator guy.
I like that.
I'm
I
really
like that
surprised here. Am I wrong? I don't know.
No, you're probably not. I mean, there's a lot that I rate very high.
Yeah. All right, I got my best director left. So I have the best picture. Might as well just get that convo of Peter Jackson for Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King.
I like it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I like
Might
that.
as well.
All right, my last pick. One of my favorite actresses. One of my favorite best performances by an actress. One of my favorite movies, honestly, to just watch. Frances McDormand for Fargo.
Yeah, that's
I thought about that. I like that.
Yeah, Frances McDormand. Hasn't she won like 2 or 3?
Three.
Yeah, for that
Really?
and 3 Billboards and for
Nomadland.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I do love 3 Billboards.
Is it my last pick? Yes.
Yes.
Can I just say, I don't mind because I don't have this film at a 5-star, I don't think. However, people are going to get very annoyed that we didn't draft this as Best Picture, and it's Godfather Part 2. People are going to be like crazy about that. I can guarantee it.
Godfather's better movie.
Wait, you're not picking that?
No,
I've already picked my Best Picture.
Oh,
He
you've
already-
already. Yeah.
I don't have that 5-star anyway.
It's fine. I thought about it too, but like, I don't know. The Godfather's already been taken.
I know, but you know what fans of these films are like. That's the thing.
Yeah.
We pander for votes.
Okay, so Frances McDormand was one of my picks, so that's out the window. Ooh, I'm between 2. I'm gonna go. Do I pick the one I love or the performance I like better?
I don't know, man. You can pick whatever you want.
Oh, this is like Sophie's Choice.
Jesus.
All right, someone say A or B.
B.
Okay,
Hey,
that's fine. Well, I done my because you. Okay, my pick is going to be Kate Blanchett.
For Blue Jasmine?
Yeah, even though I haven't seen it. And the one I love is Olivia Colman. That was like, it was one of them two, realistically.
So which one are you taking?
My pick is Kate Blanchett. That's
Oh,
my
okay.
pick. But the one I love. Is
You haven't seen it?
What?
you haven't
Blue
seen
Jasmine.
Blue Jasmine?
No, I haven't seen it.
So you're just pandering.
No, because
He just wants Kate Blanchett on his team, I guess.
It's not based on the performance. It's based on the actor.
I thought it was based.
I thought it was based on the performance.
I went with
Oh.
the performance.
Really? I thought it
Yeah.
was just based on the person, on the the director.
Let's be real.
on
It's
the- on
it's
the
based
film.
on whoever you think is
Yeah,
going to do more
it
with
does
votes.
not matter.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
I
That's
do
fair.
love
Kate
Blanchett.
Blanchett will
Let's
do
get
well.
out there.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Okay.
Let's run through these real quick. Cam's best actor was Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. He took A New Hope for best score, Emma Stone in La La Land for best actress, the Coen brothers for No Country for Old Men for best director, and his best picture was Gladiator. I myself took Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King for best picture. Denzel Washington in Training Day is my best actor. Natalie Portman in Black Swan is my best actress. Dune for original score, and Peter Jackson for The Return of the King for best director. Tyler took Joaquin Phoenix for Joker for best actor. La La Land best score, Justin Hurwitz. Bong Joon-ho best director for Parasite. The Godfather best picture, and Frances McDormand for Fargo for best actress. And Seth with the fourth pick took Martin Scorsese for best director for The Departed. Robert De Niro for best actor for. Did you take that for Taxi Driver or for Raging Bull?
Right,
Raging
doesn't
Bull.
really matter, does it, as far as I
Oh,
know.
yeah, it doesn't matter. Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring for best score. Best picture, he took One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and Kate Blanchett in Blue Jasmine for best actress. This graphic is going to be tough to put together.
I was going to think
Yeah,
about that.
fuck.
How you know, like,
Yeah.
This is going to be an interesting graphic to put together. But we will wrap up our episode there. Thank you all for tuning into episode 27 of the Real Talk podcast. Once again, we drop all these contents, all these episodes because of you guys and the support you guys give us. There's no doubt about it. There's no way we would be pumping out 3, 4, 5 episodes a week without your constant love and support. Letterboxd, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Music. What am I missing? I don't think I'm missing anything. Like, follow, share, subscribe. All of that means the absolute world to us. Even if you're a hater and you comment on our posts, we appreciate the engagement. To our executive producers, we thank you guys, Al Bodie, Mac Wells, Marcellus, Mike Ludi, Remy Walker, Jeffy Mod, Ben Hasey, excuse me, Benjamin Vesch. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. Ben Legg. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. Dean Kotamanidis, Bram
That was good.
Vitz. Thank you. That was a tough one.
Yeah.
Cameron Volker, Ferdinand Sather, John Anderson, Jordan Gagg, Reese David, Tobias Johnson, Trualm, Will Kim, and Eunice BBX. Appreciate you guys as patrons. We appreciate everyone who's patrons, and we appreciate everyone, even if you're not a patron. Thank you for everything you do for us. That is episode 27, and we will see you guys next week.
Go.